We're starting immediately. I'm running so far behind. All of my sessions have gone over. I'm going to ping my Discord right now. And then going to post on Twitter. Just trying to get this done as fast as I can here. And oh, I don't want to hear myself echo. And I think we're good to go. Ah! Don't do that. Okay. We're gonna get ready to roll. Okay.
Welcome to Blizzard World. Ready for battle.
I'm way ahead of you. We're live.
Okay.
Check it.
Okay.
We're gonna start right now. Not wasting any time whatsoever. Hello, Jasmine. Nice to meet you. We're getting right into the gameplay.
Okay.
Sorry for running so far behind. All my sessions have run over, but we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna do things backwards. Instead of going the forum first, we're gonna do gameplay first, and we're gonna pray that this replay code can hold on for just a little bit longer. Okay, not gonna introduce myself. You know who I am. I will certainly know who you are soon. What rank are we looking at?
Masters 1.
Brilliant. Okay, do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
Okay, let's do this. Oh, let's give this so much fun. Okay. Heal here, putting in some good damage. Obviously, their composition, you're just going to need to keep in mind that like your damage output is still going to be very important. But when you're talking Cassidy, Hanzo, and Zenyatta, one thing to keep in mind is that's going to kind of dictate who and where you can do damage to. Because every time you peak that composition at this range, you're at a disadvantage. You kind of see what I'm saying? So just keep in mind. Whereas like something like a Reaper, Winston, Moira, there's going to be so many more opportunities for you to be putting up more range pressure. So just know that the range gap there. All right, your Doomfist is dead. No, he's not.
Yeah.
I appreciate that we're taking the time here to do damage, though. Oh no, okay, that's unfortunate. All right. Now here's a question for you. Do you know where their team is positioned generally?
Kind of. I knew that they were behind this wall here, so they were coming left or right.
Okay.
I figured they're probably going to be chasing the Echo Mercy.
Yep.
So I was looking to fall back onto the
Okay.
high ground behind me.
All right, so Oak, activate your third eye. Use Kiriko's mobility and the fact that you know or have a very good impression of where they are, and find me a better position than the high ground behind you. This is going to completely open your eye. Trust me.
Probably going to my Tracer.
Why?
Because then I have more chances to get a kill that way.
Will you not
Do
get
more damage.
Dove?
By the Hanzo probably, but I would be safer with her, I think.
They don't have the capability to dive you at all, really, do they?
No.
And you're in a better
don't.
position to pocket your Tracer, correct?
Yes.
And you're in a better position to pop off on your own, correct?
Yes.
So remember how we talked about the fact that their comp is going to be a lot harder to like actually get good pressure out, but all of a sudden we're seeing the weakness of their composition, don't we? What's the weakness of their composition?
They can't dive.
They can't dive. They can't punish your mobility. So you could be super, super aggressive. Now, right now, it's the first opportunity we've seen where you could use that. But I'm going to be honest with you. That opportunity is going to show up again and again and again and again in this VOD. As long as they're running that comp. And then as soon as they go super mobile, you're not going to be able to greed your teleport as much, will you? But what will you be able to greed more? Compare a Doomfist to a Zarya, or compare a Tracer to a Hanzo.
Just the 2-on-1s.
Right. You're right. They're gonna be able to pressure you from flanks. Like you're gonna have to be careful with your cooldowns, but you're gonna be able to spam a lot more. Okay, so let's because we can see the problem here, right? Like imagine the like, oh, wow, and your Tracer's gonna love you, right? Your Tracer's gonna absolutely love you. There's just no way you get punished here. And in fact, the irony here is that you actually would have been safer there than where you are right now as well.
Right.
All right. Because what you're doing now is like is really not bad, right? You're kind of creating your own angle, and if they push you, you can always teleport out. But don't think about it just from your damage. Think about it also from your healing support, what you'd be able to do, because you'd be doing damage and supporting the angle at the same time.
Right.
Get rolled. All right. Same composition, and again, like there's a real opportunity here where like a flank here against this composition is actually not that absurd. This is where like this, to me, this is where Kiriko shines, because you can just play super passive heal bot, but when you're playing it to compositions like these, that's just not going to work. Like I cannot tell you how many reviews I've had with Kirikos that think that they should just heal bot like fielder, not realizing that the entire environment around them have changed. I'm not saying that's you, but you kind of see the difficulty with that, right? Okay. Like I think what you're doing here is fine, but I wonder if like going under here and then looking for an opportunity to set up your own off angle and assist your tracer would not just be more impactful. Like these guys should never be able to take like any flanks versus your composition ever. Whereas this feels like actually kind of spooky, you know?
Right.
And this is like fine, but obviously if you are going to go in aggressively, then going in aggressively point blank instead of being like kind of sneaky about it is not my favorite, right? Okay. But this should be okay, because like you can even see here, like as stressful as this is, as suboptimal as this is, this is just not the comp that's going to punish that, right?
Yeah.
The mechanics are quite good.
Scared of my doom feeding again.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Good mechanics, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just has to. You have to find out like where's the best position for me to like actually do permanent damage and to actually heal the people that will actually secure kills. You know, because what you're doing now is better, but I still think like assisting a tracer to get the opportunity would be better. You really need to get out of dodge. Nice. This is good. Really nice. Okay, and like right here, what's the plan? I mean, you're probably gonna do it, but what's the plan here?
Go high ground.
TP high ground
for the doom to dive.
Right, and then you can go Magid mode. You know what I'm saying? Like go Sir Magid, just go like battle, because you have the mechanics for it. And then even if you don't hit the shots, the pressure that you put out and the ability to heal your Doomfist will be better than playing passively. I assume that's what you're gonna do. It's okay. I think you could have set up more aggressively there. And again, it's like about the safety here, you know? Are you safer here than here? Not really, right?
Not really.
Not really. Not versus this composition, right? So it's always about finding, do I have an advantage on the enemy comp in terms of my range / poke, or do I have an advantage of the enemy composition in terms of my ability to mobilize myself? And clearly the latter is the priority versus this. And you're at a rank now to where you're going to have to be able to make these reads, right? It's not like, oh, you're gold, you're just making mistakes, period. You're masters, you're top 3%, whatever. Like, you're really good at the game, so you have to be doing that much better. And even though you're on Widowmaker, the point still applies, right? Because, okay, there's not a Tracer to support, so then you could still support the Widowmaker in aggressive positions and set up your own angles as if you were a DPS.
Right.
It's your job to put out pressure. Like, this is stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is just ego. And to be honest, you've had the mechanics so far to where you could probably get away with it, but, like, why? You know? Why would you? Because at some point, it's, like, not so good. So what you should do instead is then set up like here, right? Right? And then be like, oh shoot, there's Cassidy, I need to TP out. Okay, so then I'm gonna play from underneath and go for like a crazy flank here, or sit here and look for like make that Cassidy walk forward to here. Where now all of a sudden if the Cassidy walks here and I don't pick the Hanzo, who is the advantage in this duel? Me or the Cassidy? Tricky, isn't it?
Me?
Yeah, it's not. I'm not so sure. Maybe me, actually. You know. So, but you're playing to your strengths now.
Restoring balance.
I mean, heck, you could be body used with your Doomfist. You know, like literally, like, do you know where the enemy team is right now? I remember that question sounds familiar, right? you know where they are?
Right. I knew that they were trying to walk up the stairs, and
Right.
I knew that the Hanzo
Right.
was still
So
in
what
that
should you
mega room.
what should you do right now?
Go with the Doom.
Right. There's nothing to punish you here, right? So teleport out. In fact, it's more dangerous for you to be here than it is with your Doomfist.
Right.
So I want you to pull up my stream really fast so I can look at you smugly.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. All right. Okay, there's the smug look, right?
Okay.
Safety is relative.
Right.
What is safe in one situation can be the most risky position in the world in another. Good healing. Looks good. Get out of dodge. No! Ah, crap. How did I not hit her? That's so unfortunate. Okay. Yeah. No comment.
The Doom was calling to touch point, and I got really anxious.
That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. That's all right. It's all right. You're good. You're good. You're good. All right.
I thought maybe.
Maybe.
That was
maybe.
my bad.
That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Now they're swapping comps around a lot, right? So now they're on Hog. They're on Widowmaker now. Yet somehow nothing has changed for you, is it? It's the same. It's more of the same, right?
Yeah.
It's still comps that don't have a lot of mobility, so that like now there's even more reason for you not to be playing anywhere near open sightlines, right?
Right.
So it's all going to be about, can I dive in with my Doom? Can I take a flank, like right there, right? Really good job with the corner, but it's tough. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Those kind of flanks and angles are going to be a lot harder here, right? Like there's not a lot of sneaky spots to play, but you're going to need to make it something work. Like right here, for example. I wonder if you could get away with playing here.
Probably.
As long as you have your teleport and the idea of where you're going. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Something to consider. Now, you're spamming here. Why?
Because I wasn't entirely sure where the snipers were at.
Well, I
Figured I could probably get some spam damage.
I could tell you where they're at.
Well, yeah.
Right, so now all of a sudden you don't really have to worry about that, and you could do what you're doing right now. So I think what you're doing right now is correct, but it's correct because of the situation of the fight. You see?
Right.
Right. So okay. So you could now it's like, okay, what is Kiriko gonna do? Double dink you? Nah, not you. You're too good. I mean, heck, even Hog here doesn't have like super good range. But reasonable Suzu. I mean, I think you're very attentive with your Suzus. I think I question whether some of them are necessary. But I would rather have somebody who's very attentive with their Suzus. And what I mean by that is like you're actually like, it feels like you're really paying attention. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Than somebody who's like falling asleep at the wheel. And yeah, so I think we can always go like, maybe that's not necessary. Maybe I could have read that better, but at least you were paying attention because that's how we learn. Okay, so I'm okay with that. And again here, you're spamming, right? Why? Why are you not taking an angle or playing shorter sightlines? Rhetorical question.
I just think that I don't believe in my abilities to that extent.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
I've always been a more
Okay.
passive player.
Okay. In addition to that here, and given the circumstance though, do you think that what you're doing right now is fair? Decent?
I mean, it's okay, but
Why?
I could be doing better.
Could you? Where's that Hanzo and Widowmaker?
They're just main right now.
Right.
They're coming
Okay.
back from spawn.
So is there any reason for you to be doing anything else other than what you're doing right now?
Mm,
Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, you can poke here, right? But as soon as
Right.
that sniper turns the corner, you know?
Yes.
And you can see the problem with where you're at right now.
You're right. I'm
Right,
just
we-
in open
In
space.
the open space with no plan of like how would we set this up elsewhere, you know? Okay. Doom is in. You can't go in with him. But you're still
I really wanted to try to help him.
Yeah. Open space, unfortunate. I mean, this is where it would have probably been better to just play something like this and then maybe look for a double back, you know, maybe look for here, maybe go in with your Doomfist from here. I mean, maybe they walk forward, your Doom goes in deep, you teleport back here, right? And you play to live, play to pressure. Like, I'm talking like major aggression, but it's, again, ironically safer than what we've seen. We've seen almost all of our deaths have been from quote-unquote playing safe positions, but they're not actually that safe, are they? Not versus this composition. Nice. And if you say anything about your lack of confidence again after some of the mechanics that we've seen, I'm gonna punch a hole through something. You're hitting crazy shots.
Okay.
Way better than me. And that's saying something considering I'm like S tier mechanics. Ask anybody in my
Yeah?
Twitch chat. Yeah. They'll back me up. Nice, Suzu. Like this is what I talked about with paying attention, you know? It feels like your reaction speed is like Air Force pilot level. Like you're super good with it. Okay. So what's the play here?
I was trying to get my Mercy to live,
Mm,
and then I was gonna leave.
Okay. You did! Congratulations, well done.
Yeah.
Deja vu over again. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. This one has been. This one's a lot harder than the other one because it feels like you get caught trying to support somebody, and then you get caught out yourself. So, but like, let's just look at this from like a learning standpoint, not about what would have won this fight. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Okay, what would have been? Let's say you're just a little bit faster getting to the corner here. What's the play? Remember the range, right? The mobility that you can leverage here. What could you do? Do you see?
I could have walked towards Mega, and then just let the Mercy fly out to the Soj.
Yeah. You could have done something fancy with your Doomfist from this flank here. You could have also gone here and then teleported up to your Sojourn along with your Mercy and played shorter sightlines here, and then we look for an opportunity to TP to your Doom. Yeah, like there's options here, right? So, but all of them involve some sort of shenanigan. Shenanigan and yep, we're just gonna leave that one as it is. Oh, you almost got it off too. Okay. That replay code noise is so annoying.
Oh, that scared me.
Yeah, that scared me too. Again, not where you want to be. For right now, it's okay, but you already need to be thinking like 10 steps ahead, right? So like, where should you go? There's options, isn't there?
Yeah, to go with my Widow.
Where else could you go?
I don't know. Just, I feel like if I walk the right side while we're waiting on Doom to come back, then I'd be in hog cook range.
Maybe. I'm smelling. This is what I'm predicting. I'm predicting your Doom is gonna like do something funny from this side of the map here. I'm wondering if you could go like here, and then like look for an opportunity to rotate this direction, and maybe kind of like again just like cover to cover, right? I don't know. Let's see what happens with your Doom. I knew it, right? This is where you do something like this, right? And then again, it's all about shortening the sight lines and finding like more direct ways of getting there. So let's actually see what you do though. The dramatically inferior option.
I missed so many shots here.
I mean, but this is not the end of the world because obviously Hanzo probably has a slight advantage in this duel. But if you were to take a duel with the Hanzo, it would be something like this, right?
Right.
Because this is a net neutral trade for the most part. Like, you can keep him busy, you can still heal your team. In fact, it's actually a small positive advantage for you. This is good. Keep him busy. I wouldn't run away from this. Suzu, your movement here is like, to be honest with you, horrific.
Yeah.
You should have had your head blown off at least like 6 times.
Yeah.
You're like bouncing around. Like, what is this? Like walking in one direction? This is horrific.
It's just bad.
It's pretty bad, but the idea of like marking that Hanzo is actually not that bad. But yeah, that was some questionable movement here. Okay. All right. Now we've been very one-dimensional with our. Just to be very clear, we've been very one-dimensional with like how you're playing. Like I want aggression on angles, I want flanking, I want controlling and helping flanks. But again, why is that something that we're leaning so heavily into? Why has that been the theme of this VOD?
Because it's just better against their team comp.
Right, exactly. It's a very team compositional advantage that you have, whereas the mobility is great, but your range is not. Whereas obviously if things are more one-dimensional in the opposite direction, then the mobility is still important, but not as important as you utilizing your range and healing output. And then obviously most games you're going to get into are going to be something of a mixture between the two, and then that's when it gets really interesting, right?
Right.
Okay. But I think at least recognizing the extremes here is important. Like, for example, this right here just seems, like, respectfully, kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Like, what's... Now, obviously, this range is so extreme that anything other than a Hanzo is not really a threat. But it just doesn't seem like we care. Now, could you help your Doomfist? No, like I don't know. This guy's kind of just he's a little dense, right? Okay, so he's the typical Doomfist player, you know. But I just don't see. I'm just not gonna say a word. I'm just gonna I'm gonna leave that as is.
It's fine.
Like even if you look at that from your ult, right? You would want to be thinking about like where can I set up my ultimate, right? And obviously, you know, you would be the ultimate like Chad move here. It's just pop your ult right here, and then you just sit here and just hold mouse 1.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be the play, I think. Okay. Unfortunate. Look what she's doing. What? No way! No way! Dude, what happened to Mom? Mom really snapped. Holy cow.
I don't know.
No way she does. That is hilarious. Nice shot.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Hans. Suzu, please, Suzu, please, Suzu! Okay, I would have Suzu'd as soon as I turned the corner, just because better Hanzo hits you there, excuse me. Alright. So, we have been going at, like, blitz level right now, but what are you seeing so far? Obviously, it's been a little bit one-dimensional, but what are you seeing so far?
I can just play more aggressive angles and better angles.
Yeah, exactly. I think the thing that really tilts me off the edge of the universe is when I conclude a review like this, or at least get the halfway point, and people say, oh, I need to be playing more aggressive, because that's not at all what we were saying, right? What did you say?
Right.
More aggressive what?
Better angles.
Right, more aggressive angles, right? Don't just say play more aggressive, but more aggressive angles, right? And then if you were playing versus a dive comp or something, it'd be more aggressive sightlines. Right?
Yeah.
Where you could get more damage pressure out, but you still would have your mobility to kind of abuse and so on. So, yeah, absolutely. It's been a more of a compositional matchup thing, but I think something still to consider. I'm a little concerned about that last fight where you weren't setting up your ultimate proactively, and maybe even the fight before when you tried to use it to touch point, where that should have been the priority. So that's something we'll keep an eye on, but I don't want to overreact until we've seen a little bit more footage here. So we'll keep an eye on it. And hey, look at that. They're really spoon feeding me here. More poke. More low mobility. And the nice thing here is that you have 2 targets, really even with the Sojourn 3 to play around with, right? Like you've got your own IRL jungle gem here, where you could literally just play. I mean, it's a lot like Mercy almost, where you always have the escape route, you know? But the difference between you and Mercy is that you're a little bit more comfortable moving around to dive targets than Mercy is, because you could just teleport, right? And she's got to fly around. So, okay. That Hanzo's slinking. I don't even know if... Oh my goodness gracious. That was agony. Sorry about that. That is our beloved replay viewer. This is a little annoying. Like, this shouldn't even be like a surprise. Your Genji bails you out. But this should be like, you know, they are going to take angles, even though they are ranged.
Right.
But, and I think, like, even like with your tension right now, so you're going to Suzu this. But, like, do you know what's going on with your left? This is where the fight's won or lost, right? Not here.
I heard him over there.
It's here.
But I remember that my Genji was over on that side, so I thought I would be okay for at least long enough to get him out.
True, but I would be more concerned about assisting my Genji here than assisting my Doomfist, just based off of the fact that, like, I mean, who's going more aggressively right now?
The Genji.
Well, yeah, at best it's a 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So then I think the 200 HP target will benefit more than this one. Impact is gonna be more tangible here than here. So I think what you're doing here is probably fine, but I think it could be better. Because I think that's where you're gonna win or lose the fight is on the left. And I think obviously if your Doom needs the support, needs the healing, then you're going to need to heal, because, you know, you're playing with a Mercy here. You're not playing with an Ana or a Moira or whatever. But do look for opportunities to assist the angles, because again, that's what your support does that other supports just don't do that well. And we can see it again here too. Like you're very tunneled on putting spam here, but again, that's not your strength. That's not what we're looking to do here. And then right here, you're back to, oh, maybe I can hit a headshot. But look what happens, right?
Right.
You could have been there. You should have been there. Also, cover, minor thing. I know this is like one of the worst spots in the map for supports to position, but there has to be something better than this. I mean, I don't know. Would it be here? I honestly don't know. Maybe even just hugging the wall, right? Anything has to be better than what we're doing right now. I mean, this is understandable. You need to support the Mercy. Oh gosh, please play cover. I beg. Good. What should you be doing right now?
Going in with the Genji,
Or
the Doom.
right, because if you TP away from the Orisa, are you going to get punished for using TP?
Probably not.
No, because again, mobility. If you TP here, who's going to punish you? 1, 2 heroes? Tops? Tops?
Mhm.
You can handle that. If you TP here, who's going to punish you? You know? If you TP to your
Right.
Genji, this Cassidy dies. Or
Right.
the Kiriko dies. If you TP to your Doomfist, the Cassidy or the Hanzo dies. If you stay here and shoot the Orisa, maybe the Orisa dies, but maybe your team dies at the same time.
Right.
Because I know what you're doing. Here it is, right? Hey, she died, but at the same time, both of these gentlemen could have died at the same time. And there was an equal chance to kill these guys. In fact, if that Orisa doesn't misplay or cooldowns, there's actually a higher chance of these guys dying than the Orisa dying. So,
Exactly.
return on investment. Return on investment. Also covered. We have
Also
the we have the plat magnet going on, which is the
Yeah.
I have to do something to this target, either shoot or heal it. So I'm going to go like zombie mode and go and walk on top of it, even though there's really no reason to walk. I mean, look at this from a third person's perspective. I'm going to walk to my Doomfist because proximity increases HPS. Yeah, that's not how that works. So, yeah, okay. Okay. Overall, not a horrible job. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Kiriko being as cringy as she possibly could be, as usual. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. Is the cringiness a plus side or a downside for you with the hero?
I like it.
Ah, shoot. See, how old is she supposed to be? Does anyone even know? I feel like she's supposed to be young, but somebody said something about how she knew Genji or Hanzo, and therefore she's like 47 years old or something goofy like that.
I don't think she's like 40. I don't know. She seems like she's in her 20s.
Okay. See, if I acted like this, you know, I would have literally no friends. I mean, as it is, that doesn't really change anything but my current situation, but at least I have no excuse for having no friends. I mean, this is whatever, right? This is like suboptimal, but there's nothing else to do, so okay. I would probably prefer you on card over anybody else, so sure. Nice. Yep. Yeah, it's thrilling. Now, here's an interesting question for you. So this will always be useful. Obviously depends on where the enemy team is, but does your heart tell you that you're going to be playing more low ground or high ground in the current matchup right now?
High ground.
Why?
They just don't have any dive. And the only person that's really gonna play up there are the Hanzo and the Cass.
Are you sure? And do you want to be matching them on high
They have
ground?
a Genji Sojourn. As long as I have one of my DPS with me.
Okay. Seems reasonable. I think it depends, because here's my thought process. If any of them are high ground, if they have any poke DPS on high ground, like let's say they got a wrist at the Hans up here, I actually think you'd be more low ground. And then like
really?
looking for opportunities to dive high ground, like with your Doomfist or something. You know what I'm saying? Because I like this is where like we talk about like the mobility versus range. I feel like where this is the range kind of dominates if they're up here.
Right.
You see that? But that's where the context really matters, because if we look at this now, there's no way I want you up here, right? But cart matters. You get a kill, chaos, advantage of your Sojourn with Mercy, because you know Sojourn's just ridiculously good at mobility and poke, so everything sucks for them. But then obviously as this fight evolves, by the time it becomes relevant, I mean, look, you know, you could really be high ground if you wanted to, because they're just not there. And if they go high ground, you have to abandon it. That's fine, but then you could retake it at any point in time. So I don't know. I get nothing else that we've learned, that like paying attention to the enemy composition and paying attention to like where they're actually set up actually is beyond important when it comes to you making your decision here. Now, the nice thing is that there's been nothing really to do. We've not had to make a single decision just yet. So, you know. I mean, you might as well. That's where you get a little bit of extra target practice. Okay. All right, I'm just curious. Where does that Suzu land?
I just kind of threw it because I was bored.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. All right, let's see. Wait. Oh, imagine if she wasn't fortified and you like bang, you know, or like knocked her. Yeah,
So
that would have been elite. You should just be pressing mouse 1, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure that healing does heal people if it hits them, even if it's not locked. So you could be just like mashing crap in their general direction. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just seeing what happens. You know, like that kind of.
Yeah.
Crap. Okay. Well. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
called for us to go in.
I mean, reasonable. Yeah. They used all their cooldowns, so sometimes cooldowns matter more than people. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's the same kind of thing here. Like, okay, honest question for you. Why not just teleport to your Mercy or your Genji or something? You know, I mean, I don't feel like you have to, but at the very least, just like play cover. You know, it's like don't I don't care about the like. Why are you here? Just like either just disengage just entirely or teleport away. Like this is just
I
like.
figured that the Mercy and Genji would be able to get the kill on whatever.
I think so too. But
eventually.
Yeah, just carry yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's because we end up having to panic and get out into a position that really is not optimal.
Right.
Okay. I'm being nitpicky though, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Okay, well, la-di-da-di-da, having a lovely time. This is sort of familiar. Okay, they're on Tracer now. How is that relevant?
They're gonna dive me a lot.
I mean, maybe.
Mercy?
Okay. That's one-dimensional thinking, right? Again, third
Right.
eye here. Are they really going to be diving you a lot? What does Tracer
probably
do?
not.
What does Tracer do? Does she dual squishies, right? So then, how is she going to dive you?
She's gonna flank.
Right, and then who's she going to run into on the flank? Depends, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Might be your Genji, it might be your Sojourn, it might be your Doomfist, it might be nobody, and then she gets to you. So then your priority is then all of a sudden your range options have opened up a little bit more, yeah? But then also you might actually end up running into a Tracer on the flank, which is not as optimal as running into a Widowmaker or a Cassidy or whatever else we were talking about earlier. So doesn't mean that your mobility isn't to be leveraged, it just means that if you abuse your teleport in the wrong way, a Tracer is more likely to punish it than any other hero.
Right.
So now we're leaning almost into the dynamics of range and mobility and so on. Okay. Let's go. Please shoot. Please shoot. Please. Thank you. This is the second and third attack have been something else. Ha! Get rolled.
Yeah.
Absolutely rolled.
It was dumb.
It's okay. This is the ADD. I can't not be doing anything thing. The bane of every player's existence. Da-da-da-da-da.
We get stuck here for a while.
I'm noticing that. Uh-oh.
It lasts longer.
No way.
Yeah.
No. No, I don't think that's possible. Oh!
Our Doom kept calling that he wanted to walk through this room.
That is one of the more foolish decisions, I think.
I just panicked.
Yeah, I noticed. No comment.
Yeah. No comment.
No comment. Ha! This guy is just like all in, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now you got to be careful about that, right? Because that's the type of stuff
Right.
that a Tracer is going to punish more. But it seems reasonable. We're breaking the spawn camp. High risk, high reward. Okay. Use it. Yeah. Yeah. You could see it. You could see it.
Yeah.
You could feel the desire, and for that, I'm gonna cut you some slack because it felt like you wanted to do the right thing. Because you're like, this is gross. Even though there's a Tracer on the field, there's
It's a little late.
just no way that this is the safest position for me to be. This has to be safer, even with the Tracer dynamic, right? Like this just feels
Right.
so unsafe. So I'm gonna give you some credit. Because at least you had the right intentions, right? And that's what we want. We're training intentions because intentions mean a lot because intentions over the long run lead to better gameplay. Oh dear. Best.
He was a player. He's getting really mad at the hog.
Oh, this guy's like, sick. All right, let's thanks, pal. Yeah. Should be okay though. Kiriko mumbling her usual 12-year-old nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay. What? What?
I don't know.
Oh, I was so confused. See, this is where, like, okay, the Tracer's definitely a difficult thing to deal with, but maybe with the Hog Hanzo, it really is better to just play with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it is just better, and then if things get really hairy, you can always teleport out, you know? Because that's what I'm always saying, is like, if you can be with your flanker or your mobile hero to start, especially if that's your tank, and then you can always teleport out, that's got to be much better than the other way around, right? Where you have to teleport in blind, you know? Because, like, surely... I mean, this guy is a little bit dense, but, you know, you're giving him reason to complain at least a little bit, you know? And again, that's just kind of the read of, like, how should I be, like, leveraging this hero's mobility, you know? And the reason why this hero is, like, so difficult, at least in terms of, like, ceiling, is because that's not always so easy to read, is it? Right? Like, right now, it's like, I'm pro coach, greatest in the history of the world, but even I'm, like, kind of like, I'm not, I think that's the right play, but it's not, but that's why you need to be thinking about it in game. You know, you need to be thinking, like, how do I leverage this mobility? Is there anybody I can be playing with? Is there a flanker that I can assist? Do I need to be with my tank? Like, right now, if I teleport here, am I going to need to Suzu? If I teleport here in Suzu, will I die? Right? Should I have started here to begin with? Probably.
Right.
You know, and then, but what if we got stuck? Would I have stayed here with the Doomfist, or would I teleported out early? You know, I don't know. You know, I feel like that has to be the play, but it's not always an easy read. I mean, this case in point, you got a Hanzo, Tracer, Hog, Moira. Like, besides the fact that comp makes no sense, it is a little bit weird to read. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, it was so close.
That was close. Nice. All right. This poor Doomfist is trying so hard. And like right now, you just poke because there's nothing else to do. So just don't get smacked. Uh-oh. Probably not necessary. It is such a very long cooldown to use for something like that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hanzo. Oh, bus. Ah, wait. I spoke too soon. I showed his my lack of faith. But like even here, why like? Oh, I would be so angry if I was your Doomfist. I'm like, where's my help? Right? Walk forward.
Yeah.
Like, I get the Tracer, but she's MIA. Help this guy out. And I'm gonna be real. I might have even popped this sooner than that. All right, you guys pull this one out. Nice. Surely, right? Yes. Nice. Okay. So, we survived. We made it through. We didn't crash on us. Nice job. I'm so proud of us. Okay, so
Yay.
what are you seeing? What are you seeing as like overall problems, and then how can we actually translate that into skills to practice?
I can just play a lot better angles
Okay.
90% of the time.
Okay. And what skill does that mean? Like, how do you translate that into practicing? Because, like, obviously, yes, your angle decisions of your positioning and your angles needed better work, but how do you practice that skill? You know?
I guess just by analyzing the enemy team comps
Yeah.
and seeing what works.
Yep. I think I 100% agree. I think just simply taking some time between every fight or before, you know, as soon as you make a read, is like thinking about the situation, thinking about the composition. And I think it's not just the comp. I also think it's the situation, right? Like, remember I was like hesitant about second point Blizzard roll, and you were like, and I'm going to go high ground. It turned out that you were right. But you were right because of the situation where they were not taking high ground with their ranged heroes, so you were more than welcome to take it, but it really depends. And even remember the very, very first fight, remember the teleport to Tracer, right? Well, if their Roadhog is up there, no, but he wasn't. So it was the play. Or it was the Zarya, I think it was the Zarya at the time, so it was the play. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay, do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, one other thing. Was there anything else? So we talked mostly about the positioning, your angles, things like that. Was there anything else that you saw that I think could have been practiced better? Micro, macro, big picture, small picture, whatever.
Probably just like ult usage.
What do you mean
I
by
feel
that?
like I mostly just use it for my team
Mm-hmm.
whenever I think it would be the best for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily the best for the situation, I guess,
Okay. And
or for
then
myself.
here comes the big question again, like the last one. How do you make that into an actionable skill? What do you need to practice?
Um, mm, I guess just seeing what works and doesn't work and analyzing
You're gonna
how we
notice
can
something.
it more proactively.
Yep, you're gonna notice something that like a lot of your problems with whether it's your positioning or teleport or Suzu usage or your ultimate or your corner positioning is the way you build it into a skill and the way you practice it is just through attention. You know,
Yeah.
you give it attention when you can, and then you're gonna get better at it, right? You're gonna make errors with it, but you're gonna get better at it. I felt like your Suzu was getting a lot of your attention, and that's why it looked like you were doing a pretty good job with it. You know, we weren't nailing every one. A lot of them were wasted and goofed up, but it felt like you were actually giving it attention. We might need to shift that attention a little bit.
Right.
And so that's how you build skill, right? It's about what am I going to give attention to, and then I get better at it over the course of the week, and then I give attention to something else on the list, right? And that's how improvement happens. So 100% agree with the ults. I think with your positional decisions, and then I hate to be dull here, but the corner usage, the cover usage, I think is something
Yeah.
that probably deserves. I mean, this is something that I've been bringing up a lot recently on stream, which is like the mobility curse, where like you give a hero mobility, and all of a sudden corners just don't matter.
I think I'm also just getting too used to playing in Masters against
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
players.
yeah. Ooh, savage. But yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah. So definitely, I think those are three things that you can alternate putting attention to until we see improvement, and then you can move on to something else. Okay, so
Right.
this is the fun part of the reviews because we actually get to look at your form. So first off, do you want to give us some background on your name? Jasmine is toxic. Oh dear.
I kind of made it as like a really funny, sarcastic kind of thing
So
because
okay, so it's
it was like,
sarcastic.
yeah,
Okay.
it was back when I played on PlayStation. My friend was like, "You should make a Twitter," and I was like, "What should I name it?" And then
Mm,
I was just like, "I want to include my name," and then I was like, I didn't want any numbers because numbers were gross for
yeah.
PlayStation
True.
players,
True.
you know.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
did Jasmine and then and
Mm-hmm.
that was just the first thing that popped up, and I was like,
Ah.
that's funny.
Okay, so that's there's the lore there. Okay, so
Yeah.
I guess I mean we're doing this all backwards. But what did you hope to get out of the session? Why did you get coaching? Let's start with let's end with that because we got to go through the form backwards. You know.
Right. Um, I was just hoping to gain some more insight. I feel like
Okay.
I'm a little bit numb to this game because I've been playing it for so long, and I'm
Right.
also washed
Got it. Oh, what do you mean by
compared
washed?
to. I mean, I was top 500 on PlayStation, and then I took a
Oh.
year break because
Mm.
I didn't have internet. And then immediately after that, I switched to only PC,
When?
and I played on a 40 FPS laptop. It was about a year and a half ago.
Okay. Mechanics look really good for a year and a half of practice.
Yeah,
Nice job.
it's a it's been a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah. How so?
Um, I did a decent amount of aim labs, and I like to play in Widow death matches and stuff just because I feel like it helps me not be so shaky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A little bit of
And I'm
confidence and
definitely,
then just reps.
yes.
Okay. Okay, makes sense. We'll get to that more as we go through the form here because I actually think I might have some suggestions for that. So
Okay.
goals here are like one day to reach the rank of Grandmaster. Okay, and so then let's look at your training. Okay, so I train by just playing the game at least an hour or two a day. So yeah, so you talked about Widow Deathmatch. You talked about Aim Labs. I want to hear like the full average day, average week of training for you.
Um, if I'm solo, then in between queues, I just play a bunch of death matches and I try to play supports
Mm.
in death matches
Mm-hmm.
just to try and help build that 1v1 confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then if I am in groups, then we play in the 1v1 arenas
Mm. Mm. Mm.
in between
Like the
queues.
Sado one, Lijiang Control Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, sounds good. So you just how do you have a warm up routine? Do you still do aim labs? Do you still do the widow stuff much or?
Mostly I just kind of hop in
Okay,
now.
okay, okay. And then how much do you generally play in the average day? Does that change depending on the weekday, weekend?
Most of the time I play at least 2 hours a day, and then like 4 on the days I have more time.
Okay, okay. And then I'm going to dig into your hero pool here. So I guess we don't have to sit here and like weep over it for an hour. But if you really
Uh-huh.
like want to improve your confidence with mechanics, then using tryhard and SATA lobbies are really good. But I think my only problem with SATA lobbies is just that it's like you're playing soldier,
Yeah.
which is like not the most beneficial either. And I'm also a little bit concerned with how you play your deathmatch. You're like, oh, I pick support heroes. I mean, that's a step up, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But like, if I go to your hero pool, for playing like 2 hours a day, 2 3 hours a day, your hero pool is a little bit big, but also like you want to try and develop mechanics like very specific to the hero that you're working on, right? Like if
Right.
you're playing Brig or Moira or Zen or whatever, I mean, I don't know if that's what you're doing, but like that doesn't matter, right? What matters is Kiriko or what matters is
Yeah.
Ana, you know. Uh,
Mostly I play either Kiri or Ana
okay, then we're good to
in
go.
those.
Then we're good to go. Tryhard is really good as well. I assume you're familiar with Vaxta code as well.
I don't think so
Okay,
actually.
this is a really, really good aim trainer. You can set movement on the bots to extremely unpredictable,
Mhm.
and it's mind-numbing, but it is unbelievably good quality reps. The only problem is that it is a little dull, and it's on a even platform
Right.
without ever being shot. So I think it's good as a warm up. It's good as an aim trainer, but it's not good as your only warm up and as your only aim trainer. I would use that and supplement it with your tryhard deathmatch.
Mhm.
You're familiar with tryhard, correct?
I think so.
Tryhard FFA. Oh my goodness! I'm about to open your third eye again. All right, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it. No, I have to update. Okay,
Oh
we're gonna have to
no.
wait. So basically, tryhard is in custom games. You look up just tryhard FFA. It's like all the really really crappy heroes are disabled. All the really really crappy abilities are disabled, and then you
Right.
just instant respawn with 12 players over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And the best part is that you get like pros in there like all the time.
Oh.
So it's like the best practice out there for mechanics. And because people can actually kill you and there are cooldowns to worry about, it's like actually useful. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Mhm.
just like, oh, Vaxta, the codes, the bots move really well, but they don't shoot at you. So it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend Vaxta Tryhard FFA. And the one other code, which I have not experimented with, but I actually think may be even better than Vaxta, is ZHTD8. So for
Mhm.
those in chat who are listening, ZHTD8, because it spawns you in like an actual map. And then I think there's a lot of settings that you could adjust. It feels like a real team fight. And as a support, there's like healing to be done and cooldown values and cover. It like feels like real combat, but just constant. Um, so it's again one of those codes that feels more like the real game in a mechanical standpoint rather than just grinding over and over and over again. You do get to grind over and over again, but it's way more engaging.
Mhm.
Definitely recommend giving that one a try as well. But all of these right there, I mean, if you're queuing with friends, say it is a lot of fun, the 1v1 lobby.
Right.
But these three are amazing for like if you're solo queuing and you want to work on your mechanics, and you want to warm up. And then in terms of your rank play, I think your rank play is okay. Getting to Grandmaster with like 2 or 3 hours is going to be tough, but it's doable if you're really efficient with your training, which is going to lead me to my next thing, which is the hero pool. So if you were to break down currently or like the last month, percentage wise, how much Kiriko, how much Ana, how much Mercy, where are we at right now? How much Lucio?
Um, I would say probably if I had to break it down percentage wise,
Yeah.
it'd probably be 40 Kiri, 40 Mercy, and then 20 Ana.
Okay, that's reasonable. I mean, generally, what I like to say is how many hours you play per day is how many heroes you should be playing, because we want to get at least 2 games per day of each hero that's in our hero pool. So as long as you're getting that done, that's probably okay. But just really try to make sure that you're getting those hours, and then if you do the change to hero pool, like stuff gets meta, you want to play something else, that's fine. But that also means that more than 3 heroes is just not feasible with the amount of time that you're playing. At least to get to Grandmaster.
Yeah.
It's just the more heroes you add, the harder it's going to get, because every flexibility that you gain with an extra hero is mastery that you lose elsewhere, mechanically, and making all these like complicated, like we talk about like how complex your review with Kiriko was today, right? That kind of complexity means that you need to put time in on that hero, and not on Lucio or whatever. Okay.
Right.
Sleep is horrible, but I'm going to cut you some slack because I know that's a very personal thing that probably people are dealing with. But 4 to 6 is definitely on the extreme low end. And if we're talking about mechanics, ability to improve intensity during those training hours, that's tricky. But if I know a lot of people have different sleep issues, but if you're able to improve that even to like 5 to 6 instead of 4 to 6, that's going to help a lot with your mechanics and your ability to focus.
Yeah.
But I'm not your mother, so I'm not gonna beat you over the head with it. But I'm gonna be real. That ain't it.
I know.
Okay. Last thing here, which is really the important question. Oh, by the way, actually, I got it open, so maybe I can actually stream. I have not looked at the patch notes here, so nobody's saying anything. I want to be pleasantly disappointed. Let's show you tryhard. Oh, it is not watching. So usually you look up, go whatever tryhard, and I don't even know if this is started. Okay, there we go. We're entering game. Perfect time. And so you can see here the hero select screen. It just immediately starts. There's a couple versions of it. Depends on which lobby you get in. Sometimes they have tanks enabled, but they're like way lower in HP, and some of their cooldowns are disabled. But like if you're practicing your Ana, right? Move to resume. They have AFK mode. You have your sleep dart. Sleep dart's on a normal cooldown. You get a kill, instant respawn, and there you go. You're right back in. And it's to 50. And so it just goes and 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 goes. So this is exactly like what you want to practice. And obviously it's nice because you're going to be getting really, really good 1v1s versus tracers and Cassidy's and tracers and things like that. And you get to, teabag a little bit as well. And like that kind of thing. So yeah, highly recommend this one. Okay. Let's look at the last question on the forum here, which is, what do you feel is holding you back? Anna says mechanics and mentality. We talked a little bit about mechanics. Do you want to elaborate on that one a little bit, or did we mostly hit on it?
I think we mostly hit on it.
Okay. All right. And then in terms of mentality, I know this is always an awkward and difficult one, but it's very important. Do you want to elaborate on that one for me?
I think I'm just very passive, and I don't have confidence in my abilities.
So you're not a tilter necessarily. You just don't have a lot of confidence in your abilities. Okay. So
Yeah.
how do you build confidence? Well, first off, how do you know that's a problem with you? We talked about it earlier on stream, right? But how do you know that's a problem with you?
I don't know. I've just had so many people point out to me that I could easily win like certain duels or games if I just, trusted myself to do things correctly. Or I didn't just try to rely so much on my teammates and DPS to
Right. So you've
like,
had it pointed
step
out.
off.
You've had it pointed out, and specifically where you could get more pressure, more value if you were doing more aggressive. Now,
Yes.
I noticed that a little bit. I only saw the one VOD, but I definitely noticed there was some opportunity here. I don't think you would need to force it in terms of playing more aggressively here. But let me ask you a question. You know yourself better than I do, shockingly. Do you think that you lack confidence?
When it comes to playing, yes.
Okay. Give me an example, because you gave me, when I asked you gave me some other people have said that you could have won more duels here and there. You're in game. Where are you seeing your lack of confidence?
I think probably mostly in just especially like in my aim.
Mm.
I don't like trust myself to hit those like shots consistently.
Okay.
I think that's why I'm like so attentive to my Suzu. I've been trying to work on it just because like I don't know. I guess I just don't trust myself to do the right thing in
Okay.
situations.
Okay. And how does that adversely affect you? Do you avoid those difficult situations because you're scared of messing them up, or what?
Yes. Yes,
Give
I
me an
think that.
example. I'm gonna keep asking because I
Um
would really want to make sure I'm hitting it correctly here.
like I don't try to take those like off angles
Mm-hmm.
that you were pointing out just because I feel like I wouldn't be hitting my shots, or I'd be better off just like healing
Okay.
my DPS that or my tank that could hit those shots
Question for
and
you.
be
When we were talking about the off angles, at least in the review specifically today, was it you taking the off angles so that you could actually get kills, or that off angles because you could support those off angles better and because it was safer?
off angles because it was safer
Right.
and I'd be able to support the
It
DPS.
didn't require you necessarily to hit shots for it to be a good play.
Yeah.
We talked about aggressive. It wasn't just aggressive. It was aggressive angles because that was often the better position for you to be in, period.
Uh-huh.
Right? So that's the number one thing. But the number two thing is, are there situations where you lack confidence when you should be taking a duel playing aggressively? Is that a problem for you?
I think so.
Okay, you think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Okay, I wouldn't assume that you're just not confident because you're not egoing the lobby permanently. Because at some point, like I mean, even Sir Majid doesn't ego ons on Widowmaker usually. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Back in the day, like there's a certain line where you make educated decisions. But if you do feel like there are decisions where I should be trying to play with more confidence, but I'm not, then that's what we need to focus on. Right? We need to be very specific with it. Now, here's a question for you: if that is indeed the problem in those specific circumstances, and that's something that you want to be improving upon moving forward, how do you build confidence?
I think just by playing the game
Okay.
and doing
Okay.
those things that make me a little bit more uncomfortable in terms of playing and taking those off angles with
Mm.
my DPS.
Exactly. You nailed it. You nailed it. Absolutely. Because here's what it is. Jasmine, you're an amazing player. You'll win all those duels. Trust me. Does that give you confidence? It shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. See, that's the problem. It shouldn't, though. Because how long is that confidence going to last?
Like a day.
Yeah, tops. And then you're going to get your head blown off, and then you're going to feel bad about yourself, and then you go right back to playing like a coward, right?
Yeah.
So how do you build confidence? Like what you said was exactly right, right? You needed to go do it, and you need to get uncomfortable. I think was that the term you used?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it right there. You only build confidence by actually doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? And which makes it really, really hard because confidence is very snowbally. Because if you don't do stuff, you're not going to be very good at doing stuff. So when you're not very good at doing stuff, you're not going to be very confident in doing stuff, and so therefore you're going to avoid doing stuff, and so on. So
Right.
you have to it's like they always say, like when you first start like getting into exercise, whether it's running or lifting a little bit of weights, that's always like the most sore that you ever get, is when you first start. But if you don't ever start, then you know what I'm saying, you never get over that hump. So for you, it's going to be about playing with more confidence in these off angles, even if we're not talking mechanics. Like just have confidence that or just try to make these reads, and after today's review, you're likely to make a lot of mistakes with how you should be flanking and how you should be angling, right? As opposed
Right.
to what you're doing before. So you're going to die a lot more, and you're going to plummet all the way to bronze 4, right? So you're going to lose a couple of ranks most likely. But your confidence is going to come from the fact that even if I mess it up now, I'm going to have the tenacity and the patience, and I do have the intelligence, which you do, and I do have the mechanics, which you do, to eventually figure it out and in the long run be a better player.
Right.
Right? The confidence, I always say, is not the confidence in the here and now, but in what's to come. That's where confidence comes from. And so when you start making those investments and you do the hard things, even if it sucks, even if you dip to Masters 5 or Diamond 1, then you're in the long run going to be the better player. That's where real confidence comes from. So you nailed it. I encourage you to go forth and figure those things out, because maybe it's not even mechanical confidence that we have. Maybe the whole like playing off angles and like aggressive positions, even if you're playing them passively, is like spooky to you, because it feels like you would die more, or I might make the wrong read and feed, right? And you're probably right, but it doesn't matter. You need to figure out the game more. you need to learn this hero better than you are right now. You need to stress test your positioning more, not necessarily your mechanics, and maybe that's where you need to build your confidence. What do you think?
I agree. I feel like I need to do those wacky, goofy angles
Sure.
that I don't like doing.
And they're wacky and goofy because something in our brain tells us they're wacky and goofy, but that's just because our brain is not used to a hero like Kiriko that needs to be doing that.
Yeah.
It's like the Reddit Lucio. It's like, oh, look, he's Reddit Lucioing, but he's not actually Reddit Lucioing. He's doing what he needs to be doing, but it just feels like, oh, that's not safe, but it is safe. It just doesn't feel right, you know? Okay, I'm trying to think here. Okay, do you have any other questions? Because we talked about a lot, but we still have a little bit of time. I don't mind going over anything that we gameplay wise, hero wise, training schedule wise, mentality wise. Is that mostly it with you from mentality?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely just like a confidence thing, thinking that I'm not gonna hit my shots.
Okay. Because your mechanics really truly were phenomenal, especially given the context that you gave for me with your console background and how you've not been involved in PC for even that long. Like they were really, really good. So that is something that like, and I'm not saying that to give you confidence. I'm saying that to encourage you that when you do these things, that will not generally be such a vast, major limiting factor that it's going to prevent you from doing things like this and finding success. You're going to hit shots, you're going to miss shots, but for the most part, you're going to be about where you need to be. Any other questions?
I don't think so. I think I have a lot of things I want to try and work on.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot, right? You have to be kind of single-minded and like sequential about it. It's always hard because you're like, oh, there's like all these things. And it's hard to not think about all of them, but you have to try. You know, you have to try. Otherwise, you know, you're gonna try and do 7 things at once and do all of them poorly. So, okay.
It's okay. I'm a single cell brain.
Okay.
I should be able to focus on
Good.
one.
Good. You want to hear me hit you with a low blow? You know what you should single-mindedly focus on? Your sleep.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I told you I'd fight dirty. Okay. No other questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Are you familiar with the replay code rule? Most people aren't.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
I didn't realize there was gonna be a patch today.
Okay. Well, here's the deal with the replay code rule. Wait, are you sure you're thinking of the right replay code rule?
Probably not.
Okay, that's okay. I appreciate the confidence in thinking that you knew the answer, but you're dead wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, the replay code rule is a week from now, a month from now, whenever. It's up to you. If you come across a game on Kiriko, Mercy, Ana, or even if you've decided to roll swap to Lucio, I don't care what you do. Send in a replay code to me over a message and give me like 4 timestamps of like, what should I have done this fight? I think I did good this fight, but I was a little bit confused. How do I play versus this composition? And so on. And I'll get you some written feedback. So it's like a little bit of a follow-up session, but it doesn't even have to necessarily be on the hero that you got the review on. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
Just a little bit of follow-up. And then obviously if you do have any questions, just shoot me a message anytime. And yeah, that's it. Anything else?
No.
Well, Jasmine, don't be toxic, be confident. And that was hilarious. And I will chat with you later. Good luck with your practice.
All right. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Jasmine is Toxic. Our resident Masters Kiriko. Give me 1 second, chat. No Okay, so I had an off-stream coaching session, so I have to send you the guy that's recording there. Hello, Nodlin, thank you for the sub.
6 months and I'm still not in OWL. Worst coach I've ever seen.
Hey, but you've never seen me. You never will see me. Anybody who saw me in person would have an immediate drop in their confidence level because they would think that, oh man, I'm so inferior to this monstrously beautiful human being in front of me. But thank you for the sub regardless. Patch good or bad? I haven't looked at the patch really quick. Let's where's the patch notes really fast? Does anyone have the patch notes for me? Nice plat Orisa gameplay? What? What are you talking about? Did he say if when he's talking about the patch? No, not yet. Oh, the bottom left thing. I'm actively looking at me right now? No, that's not me. Where's the patch notes? Okay, this is the patch notes right here. Okay, patch notes. Oh, okay. Let's check these out, and then we're jumping right into Jake. I'm gonna let Jake know. I will give you a call in about 10, 5, 10. Do you want to start with the review or interview first? Your call! Exclamation mark. Okay, let's check these juicers out real quick. Let me shut down all this foolishness. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Health bonus reduced from 125 to 75. I mean, I'm down. Seems reasonable. Oh, I can't freaking do the epic pen because it's just disastrous. Okay. Fortify health reduced. That seems reasonable. I still wish you could headshot during fortify. But yeah, that seems reasonable. The overheal probably wasn't a necessary mechanic. It was increased survivability already on a survivability mechanic. So, is it going to be earth shattering? No, but it is significant. So, okay. These changes aim to reduce the frustration of dying in one shot. Melee for being hooked and pulled. Rock chain hooks is still powerful, so often lead to its effectiveness will now be more dependent on your amount of the hook. Impact damage reduced from 30 to 5. The enemy's final position distance from roadhog for being pulled increased from 3 to 4 meters. So they're basically further away when you get hooked. So when you hook somebody in, they're further away. Okay. Damage per pellet reduced. Recovery time reduced. Reload time reduced. So firing faster, shorter reload, more ammo. That seems reasonable. I mean, it's still lipstick on a pig or on a hog, but it seems more reasonable. I'll have to go in and check it. Like, this has to be net positive, right? Right, chat? Has to be. Okay, Sojourn. The energy gain adjustment will help smooth out average railgun charge because it won't benefit as much for critical energy. Hitting water the Sojourn will result in quicker energy gains than before. Pierce the damage since it reduces the time to energy load threshold. Enemy game is no longer based on damage done by primary fire. Each primary fire hit against an enemy player now grants 5 energy. Okay, so it's basically, even if you hit criticals, it's going to gain energy slower. I don't know if I like that, guys. It seems like you've made it, like, harder to get your railgun, but also, like, the skill floor. It's, like, so much, like, there's no, like, skill reward. You just hit the enemy. Also, does that mean it's easier? Like, how much energy did you get from shooting an armored target before? Because it might be a net buff to shooting tanks, which is not really what we want. And then you've nerfed her primary fire again, which is the only non-frustrating part of her kit, right? Like, I guess this is a net nerf. I guess I don't feel like I fully understand this. I'll have to go back and look, but this just doesn't. Tanks are easier to headshot, so you'll farm less on tanks. I mean, that's true. That's true. I just don't understand why discouraging headshots and nerfing her primary fire was in any way something that makes sense. Whether this is a buff or the nerf, this just doesn't seem that intelligent. They didn't want to shift railgun as part of her identity. But can you not shift railgun's potency as part of her identity? I just totally disagree. I'm sorry. I just do not like this. I do not like that we've nerfed primary fire again. I do not like that we're not rewarding headshots. I do not like that that we still haven't dealt with the fact that railgun I don't like it. I don't care if it, no, I just don't like it. I don't like it. It's still relevant. Railgun's still relevant. What did we decide, chat, that we should make railgun? Was it 80 damage? 75 damage? Yeah, we came up with a number. Yeah, exactly. And here's the other thing, guys. You could do 75 damage for a rail, 150 for headshot, and you could reduce the recovery time between railgun and primary fire again. So it's not like a significant, like, so because it might be awkward for having that delay still in there if we reduce the overall railgun damage. I just don't like it, guys. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Where's the mercy? Hello? Kiriko. Recovering time. Nice. Despite Kiriko's healing practice, her... Nice! I want the actual numbers on the HPS decrease, but this has to be significant, right? So 0.85 to 1 second. That's 1.5. That's 3. Fart. Why can't I? It's 3. Oh gosh, I'm so washed. 3/17, which would be, it's like 18%, something like that. 18% reduction. Yeah, it's like an 18% damage healing reduction, something like that. 17%. Was there nothing with mercy? I swear they said something about mercy. Hello? There's nothing here. This might be good. I don't know. I know this is something that people are... So it means that the Mercy, I guess it's indirect nerf to Mercy because her damage boost doesn't increase charge rate, but it still doesn't remove the one shot. What? No, I don't know the ramifications of these changes. I can tell you what I think, but I don't know. I don't have an ego to be able to read the meta and how this is going to adjust the meta. That being said, I don't think slowing railgun charge is going to remove Mercy necessarily. You can still one shot, right? You get the one shot a little bit slower, maybe. Some of these changes are really nice. I think the Hog, Orisa, and Kiriko changes all seem very reasonable, but the Sojourn changes really do not sit super well with me. Really not my favorite changes in the world. I don't love it. Sojourn also charges faster off of tanks now, so it's going to be even harder. I mean, yeah, theoretically. I don't know. So Jake, we're waiting on Jake now. I have all my notes. I even went ahead and recorded the Junkrat VOD that we're looking over, just in case the replay code got wiped, and which I was expecting it to. So, yeah, we were not only ready to go, we were more than ready to go. So I'm gonna get my flipper flopper here. So yeah, I mean, it's all right. You know, it's all right. These changes are probably a net positive, but it annoys me with the Sojourn thing. It annoys me. Like I don't think, like, railgun needs to be part of our identity. I agree, but it doesn't have to be a one shot. And don't play semantics with me like, oh, it's technically not a one shot. Screw off. It's a one shot. You know, we all know what that means. It's close enough. I think they could shift more of our identity away from that. And I don't know. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Yeah, of course. No rush. So Jake is finishing Plat Chat right now. My man is jumping around like crazy. Wait, what's Plat Chat up to right now?
So, and it's kind of a bad time to do it, I guess, with the way esports is going. With, you know.
Hey, Jake. Jake is on Plat Chat, so where he's finishing up Plat Chat. So chat, we're gonna have to wait on Plat Chat before we chat with Jake. Orisa Durf does nothing. I mean, yeah, it's not. I would have preferred the headshot kind of a thing more. Maybe that would have been too extreme, but you could have toyed around with that more. I don't like. Again, it's like the spirit of the changes, not just the magnitude of the changes. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the fact that you can't fortify or can't headshot during fortify. I don't like the fact that we're punishing you for essentially hitting headshots with Sojourn. Not punishing you, but there's less reward for hitting headshots. I don't like that. Same reason why I'm in the minority, maybe, but I think that Railgun should headshot potentially, because I think having that as a skill shot is totally fine. It just needs to be the magnitude, or yeah. Okay, quick roast my highlight while we wait. No, I want to actually see like how far this Roadhog hook shenanigans is. Okay, well, first we need to hook the stationary training bot. We'll start with that. You know what I should do? I should be that guy. Chat, I'm gonna be that guy. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna be that guy. I want to actually test this out. How's Zanzibar? Patches live today. Yeah, you guys read me like a book. It's gonna be Hog and FFA. We're going. I mean, chat, we have to properly test, right? How else am I gonna get my dopamine rush? No. Maybe I should have waited longer. Nice reaction speed there. Diva leaves. Oh! Shooter. The fact that you hit that one shot hurts my soul. I mean, it's a training bot. Their hitboxes are massive. Oh! What a hook. Alright, well, all quiet on the Western Front. We have the test, right? Barely containing all that glee. Yeah, well. Nice! 1% ult charge. You can't one-shot a Zen? What? Good movie, that one? I haven't seen the new one. I saw the old one. The old one's really, really good. Really depressing, but really good. Very, very violent. I think it's pre-code, so there's like some extra juicy violence for an old movie. I heard it was good though. Let me some protest movies. Did I place it right? The new one is the same kinda? Yeah, so I've heard. Custom lobby? I mean, but it's not as fun. Like I want like actually realistic people that are gonna try and move out of hook. You know what I'm saying? Can I emote here? I guess not. That would be awesome if you could actually emote. Okay. Oh jeez, yeah. Look at the ice in my veins. You guys see that? 14 HP in a dream. Didn't even need it. Just like what a legend, honestly. Not trying to toot my own horn here, but I might be the greatest of all time. So faster firing rate, faster reload time, more ammo, but slightly less damage, and the hook distance. I know where she is. I know where she is. Aww. Aww. So she was a little low there. Hi, bud. I try to not be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy sometimes. Thoughts on Finland and Denmark missing from Overwatch World Cup? Really? Denmark is a huge surprise. I don't know many Finnish players, but Denmark is a huge surprise. Denmark has some of the best Overwatch players in EU. Ah! I tried to ego and I got punished for it. Okay. I'll check it later. That's wild though. Sauna, Vistola. Oh yeah, that's true. I know Rippa was finished as well, if I remember correctly. Denmark is shocking. Shockwave, Kellex, Molfig, Fisher. Denmark is stuck. Alright. There's Hog. I don't really care about a Hog, but I'll give Hog a try. Oh, crap. This guy. It's Rat. I tried to predict Hook because I knew I only had one shot. That was stupid. Shouldn't have hooked that. A little bit of ult charge. I know where he's going. Cut this guy off. Oh gosh, I'm bad. Holy crap, this guy. It's like me on Zenyatta. Wow, this guy swings wide? Man, I'm getting rolled! He swung away from the cover. I was like, no way. Watch this, ready? Oh, I hooked a stationary target, guys. So, with Widows, she can't move a whole lot. She doesn't have a movement ability. I think it's definitely going to be relevant with heroes that have, like, movement abilities or defensive abilities. Like, because I do have to give it, like, that extra, like, of all the ways to fall off, this is the worst way. Sorry, can't hear you down there. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna keep him away from me. Oh dear. These guys, man. Actually, the Reaper 1v1 might be really scary now, actually, because... Oh, I didn't have... What? Did I reload? Did I not have ammo there? That was weird. I need to go back and look at that. I think I might have just not had ammo. Maybe I'm... Oh, that was dumb. I'm bad. Oh no, my phone turned off. Toxic Spile? Yeah, well, get rolled. I'm playing high in deathmatch, guys. It's not... the hero sucks in deathmatch. Ah, crud. Discord. I'm dead. Okay. Oh! Domination. As long as I beat the law, all is well. No, I'm not being the law. What? I'm gonna hook this guy. This is not going well, chat. I mean, I'm not dying, but I'm just not getting a lot of kills, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yes. That is talent. You can't teach that, guys. You can't teach that. Like that movement of the crosshair. You can't teach that. That is, and this is a guy I don't even play. You don't even play ranked, and that's what you do. I was going for the BM there, and before I should have just hooked her, but yeah, I'm sorry. We have to take a moment to really consider that one. Watch me do it again. Watch me do it again. He's gonna try and boot me. Nice boop, idiot. Come on, come on. I'm just gonna sit here. What? Did you guys see that? Fight! This guy's friendless. Probably don't even care. Stupid idiot. Oh, what happened with my hook? You guys seeing this? My hook is just like this materializing. Alright. We wanna talk? You wanna talk? You wanna talk? Alright, come on, human refuse. Come come on, 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 coward. Oh, you wanna fight? Watch this, ready? Watch this, ready? Oh, I thought for sure it was ego. Stop laughing. Try turning your camera when you hook. I'm gonna kill this guy. We need a kill here. Aww. Okay, so yeah, definitely noticeable. Significant? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I should try playing a quick play game, like actually play Hog in a quick play game, see if it's actually relevant. Why do I have this? Oh, that's right, because we did the pugs. It's like we can't have that as my player icon. I like London, but it's the Spilo way. You have to have. I've had the. Where is it? The Clat. It's been my logo for like 4 years. There you go. Can't have it any other way. 10 minutes. I got a Plat chat shout out. Oh, Jakeson coming. I might have to leave my quick play game. That would be a shame. Why are you listening to Plat chat and not listening to me play a Roadhog and Deathmatch? You guys are idiots. Will I even have time? Leaked my gold DPSSR? No, I didn't. Did I? Man. Listen, I can't help it if the game places me in gold. I don't play the game enough. I have not played through, I played through like 1 win set for each ring. Play ball like a real man? Do I look like a real man to you? That's a joke.
Hey there, Moira.
Gold 1 DPS. Look, I've only placed once! And I was playing snipers. They're the worst heroes. Alright? Garbage. Just ego Jake and make him wait. I mean, he hasn't messaged me yet. So I'm gonna go out here and dominate some noobs with Hog.
I've got a few tricks. If we do this
Oh,
right,
it's so
they won't
loud.
even know what happened.
Oh, it's so loud. Why? Wearing the hood up indoors is definitely an aesthetic choice. Ha! Nice. You guys are just, here's what it is. It's humility through disguising the charisma that I have if I wanted to. If I wanted to, I could literally just wear a man thong and nothing else, and you guys would be legitimately weeping on stream. At me in stream. But I'm being humble and modest, even though I have every right not to be. Ah! Look at that guy. Look at that guy. He didn't know it hit him. He thought, no way that guy hits his hook. It didn't matter. I didn't even need that hook. Ah, okay. You're friendless. Look at you. Look at you. Look how stupid you are. We're down 1, so I'm gonna back out. Oh, we're down 2. I'm gonna back out. Oh, I messed up. You're worthless! Rocket coming. Rolled. Ah. Man, come on. Alright, we're slowly taking space here. Oh, this guy is way out in there, yeah. Oh, we can kill this guy. I'm sorry, what? Alright, 3, 2, 1, walk out. I don't. No. Well, that feels pretty bad. Crud! Dang it. Okay, Jake still hasn't messaged me. Don't know about this guy's timing and angles? Yeah, okay. You think you're super funny. 29% hook accuracy. I mean, to be fair, I haven't had very many easy opportunities. I'm gonna cut myself a lot of slack here. And this... Wow. Okay. Idiot. Cool. Okay, now we can cross here. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. No rock. I don't really know where else to go on this map. I've never played Roadhog on this map. Wow, that was questionable mechanics. I'm actually gonna shoot through here. Now we flank. Yeah! Stupid! No! Ah! Okay, we got one more life. Bro, I'm actually feeling the lack of one shot, I'm not gonna lie. Because like the problem with the lack of one shot is Roadhog's identity is about controlling flanks, but if I can't hook one shot, then I'm like significantly worse at doing my job. I don't win every 1v1. Here, come on, idiot. Speed ult charge. I mean, just feed me ult charge. Go ahead. My BAP is loving it. But see, I actually think Hog might be bad because he. See ya. See ya. Wow, a lot of ults being used. I might be able to skull clutches. Idiot. Idiot. Okay. Oh, that would have been juicy if that had hit. This guy trying to sneak up on me, little rat. I do not know how to use this ultimate. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, if I can't one shot, do I really win? Okay. Because what I'm supposed to do, I can't do. I mean, I'm not complaining, though. I don't mind Hog being trashed here. Hog is a stupid hero. Oh, they're pushing me now. Now we double back. See, they'll never expect it. Oh, you can't teach that. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. Idiots, all of you. Look at the space creation. It's honestly legendary. Now I'm watching push back up here. Bro, what is that hook like clipping through walls now? Can't teach that. Oh! I'm stuck, chat. I'm literally stuck. How did I get stuck on nothing? Did you guys see that? I literally got stuck on the air. Alright, I'm actively feeding you. Discord call. Right click and still one shot? Oh, that's true. But still, it's like, that's so much harder to win 1v1s with. I think Hog will be trash, and I'm okay with that. I think that his design as a ultimate 1v1 hero is just too broken. Alright, they're just gonna spam me out. I can't stay here. I am taking so much damage, I'm not gonna lie. Feeding just a wee bit. Come on, ego me. Ego me. Moron. That was not intentional. I keep ending up in these tank duels. This map is not allowing me to flex my solo sustain. Instead, I am feeding so much ult charge to their DPS. Maybe I should go under? I don't know how to be sneaky, honestly. Yeah, see, I can't. It's too far. Too much damage. Like, I really don't know how to do this. Doesn't have rock. Crap. Well, the clear thing, chat, is definitely Elo Hells.
Defeat.
Definitely Elo Hell. See, this is why I don't play chat. Okay, we're gonna get into a call with Jake. Let's do this. But yeah, I am questioning Jake Overwatch. Gonna stream and record. Will that be in the bottom feature? Look, shut your mouth, okay? Please roast VOD that. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I played it legitimately perfectly. I have really no idea what you guys are talking about. I'll just turn this room. Review. Alright, Jake is turning the stream on. Jake is currently, as we speak, turning the stream on. So, hold on to your butt cheeks. I did feel really hard there with Hog, because the map was not exactly great, because it was like, that Sigma was meeting me on every single flank. There was like nowhere I could flank. So it was like just out playing with just hook, and I'm not good at hook, so. Also, I got an apology from Reinforce. For what? I mean, I know what, but I want to make sure. For ghosting you? Good! No, I'm just kidding. I like Reinforce. I mean, I'm sure he's been very busy. It's okay. I have such a thick skin with ghosting, whether it's unintentional or intentional. It's okay. I appreciate the apology nonetheless, so. You could pull strings. Yeah, I guess you just know everybody and everything. Okay, we're gonna hop in a call. It doesn't really matter to me. We could do interview or review first. Your call.
Okay. Yeah, either's fine with me.
Okay. I was thinking probably interview first, just because I feel like that's going to be like more organically leading into the review.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And then I also have all my questions set up here. The only sucky part is that I'm gonna have to sit here like a dope with your stream pulled up and just like stream delay. You know, and be like, hey,
watching the.
Yeah, exactly.
I can stream to you on Discord maybe, so it's faster. But
the thing is I've tried turning my face cam on, but OBS is like, no, face camera is being tied up. Sorry, you can't.
Oh yeah, you have to use like virtual cam so we can do it. Yeah, it's not even worth it.
Okay,
it's not even worth it. It's annoying.
Can't be bothered. Okay,
so audio, it's fine.
So I'll get your stream pulled up, and then I'll have your face on delay, and hopefully my face doesn't like override your face. It's okay. Yeah, how does that look? Does that look good? Chat, what do you think? Is that okay? Yes?
I'm gonna pull up your stream of you streaming my stream.
Oh, this is gonna be really good. It's gonna be a stream of a stream.
This is content.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. So
actually, Spirit, I don't even know how to do OBS. I just don't touch it. So
that's fine. It's fine. Your voice. It's fine. I legitimately had a stream the other day where I had like the wrong scene open for like 20 minutes, and I just didn't check Twitch chat, so it's legendary. Okay, so
I've had no mic for like an hour before. It's been good.
Yeah. To address the elephant in the room, no, we are not related. We share the same name, share the same hair color. I think we're about like the same build and height. But no, we're not related.
No, if we were related, that'd be fucked up. Who gives people the same name?
Yeah, that's true. We got like your brother.
Parents. You named really both like your kids the same thing.
Okay, true story. Did you like were you like involved in like a lot of like activities as a kid? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
like,
Did
you know,
you
like,
do you
sports or
like
whatever.
did your name like really tick you off as a kid, or was it just me? Because I swear, every sport or activity or class I was ever in, there was always at least one other Jacob, and I drove me nuts.
For me, I guess it was never that bad. I think like the school I went to, there was like one other kid I knew, but he went by Jacob, and I always went by Jake, so it was never a
Ah,
problem.
yeah. See, the only person who calls me Jake is my mom, and like, so yeah, it's just awkward. Okay, so
I'm the opposite. No one, literally, no. Even my parents call me Jake. And
I
nobody calls me Jacob.
I think I
Actually,
prefer Jake, actually, now that I think about it. But it's kind of, you already have a monopoly on that one, so it's a little bit awkward. So maybe it's too late
I'm
for that one.
taking over, baby.
Okay.
I'm a pioneer of the using your real name as a gamer
Dang it. And
tag.
I'm older than you, so this isn't fair. It shouldn't work like this.
I've been out here first, you know. It's like I've claimed the ground. I've planted my flag.
Okay. Meanwhile, I took my name named after a bionicle I had when I was like 10 years old. So the real Chad mood.
It's simple though. It's like, you know, you could also be like a fucking app. You could be like a tech company with that name, you know. So it's
That's true.
it's
I'm
like,
pretty sure there's a makeup
it's
company.
5 letters, right?
I'm pretty sure it's a makeup company. Somebody said somewhere. And also, the other terrible part is, anytime you look up my name, the name Dan Spilo comes up, and I'm pretty sure he was like the guy that got into a lot of trouble for like sexual assault on the Survivor
Oh,
show.
good. Love that.
And
Love
I'm
that.
like, awesome, guys. I'm either a makeup company or sex offender. So there's just so many upsides here. So okay. I did my homework. Obviously, I'm familiar with you and you're familiar with your work, so there wasn't a lot here that wasn't new to me. But I really want to like dig deep and come up with some fun questions here. So we're gonna do this kind of chronologically, but obviously, I just want you to kind of talk. Oh my gosh, you got really big. So you can talk
I'll
about.
leave it on my. I'll leave it on my.
No. It's
normal
totally
one.
fine. It's just totally fine. Basically, I wanted to talk about like what you want to talk about, what's interesting to you, because I'm sure you've done interviews and things like that before. So we'll go over some of the low-hanging fruit, but also if there's something that like this is such a cool story, this is something I've always want to talk about, I've never been asked that question, that kind of holds priority. Okay, so I guess we could kind of get started with this. Like, what got you into video games? You obviously started competitively, or at least semi-competitively, with TF2 back in the day, but what got you down that road even before then?
So to the very beginning with games was always me and my brother. I had a brother who was 2 years older than me, and we would always like play video games together, like on the PlayStation and Xbox and stuff when we were kids. Like come home from school and play games together, co-op games and single player games, just all sorts of stuff. So total casual gamer, but I really loved it. I always loved playing video games, maybe even more than my brother. And I guess as a younger brother, I heard this is a common story. Like younger siblings are like more competitive, wanting to beat the older sibling, right?
Yeah.
And video games is an arena where you can do that, even though you're 2 years matters a lot for two brothers, right? Like my brother's always a lot bigger than me and stronger than me and stuff. So there's no way I could win in most like physical competitions, but then I can win at games. I can be better at games, and so maybe that's the start of it. And then that kind of like kept going for me. And once I got into PC gaming with TF2, it really took over. I really got into like wanting to become super good at TF2 and wanting to compete in TF2, and realizing that you can play video games competitively. And at that time, I was watching like Pro CS and Dota 2 and like getting into watching esports and starting to think, oh, maybe I could do that. I could be really good at video games.
Yeah.
And that was when I was probably like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years old, 15. And so, yeah, in high school, I got really into playing competitive TF2. And then from there, that's where I got really competitive. That's where I got into the competitive gaming scene and reaching a pretty high level in TF2, but there's no like money to be made, basically. There's no like job there. So I was like, all right, this is not going anywhere. I got to like move on with my life. But then also knowing I can reach this level, and then with Overwatch getting announced, I was like, okay, this is the chance to be a true, like, make an actual living out of it.
Right.
Because I know I have the mechanical skill from TF2, and it's like a similar game in a lot of ways. Like, it's a very strategic arena shooter game. A little more like mechanically heavy, I think, than Overwatch is, but in terms of Overwatch being a little bit more strategy heavy,
Right.
relatively speaking. And but I knew that was my strength in TF2. Even I was like known in TF2 as being like a player who uses like the weird weapons and like has like weird strategies that I try to play with, and like maximize and do better than the meta.
Right.
So
right. Okay.
yeah, I guess from all that, I was like, Overwatch comes out. All right, this is my one shot to become a pro gamer. Let's take it.
Sure. So you were ready for it. It wasn't even like, oh, it happened to work. You were like, whether it was TF2.
I was like, I'm going all in. After TF2 was no hope. I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna chill. And after I reached the invite, I reached ESEA invite, which is like the highest level in NA.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, I don't know. I think the team I was on was like 7th or 8th or something in invite.
Yep.
Like out of, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It might have been 8 teams. I know we weren't the last. Might have been 6 out of 8 or 8th out of 10, something like that. So
Yep.
nothing special, but in the highest division. So I knew, and that was when I was like 15 or 16.
Now, was this Bird Noises or was this before then?
No. I didn't play with those guys in TF2 actually. I just knew them. They came up after me in TF2. I was like older than them. I came up on like an older team. I think what we're called like Meat Market. I think was our team. And we teams change the name all the time in TF2. Like we played in. It was like there's no sponsors. Right? You just make weird team names every season. But we won the IM intermediate division, and then we like went to invite and changed some players. But
sick. Okay, cool.
But that's when I knew, okay, I have the potential to reach a high level in a game. It's just that TF2 has no future for like having a job. I need to eventually pay rent. So.
Right. Makes sense. So then you attempt that with Overwatch. I was looking on your Wikipedia. You have a Wikipedia page. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But your time spent in Netherlands said you were studying abroad. In
college.
Okay. What were you studying for at the time?
I was studying at the time I was pursuing a double major, economics and philosophy.
Nice.
But yeah, I ended up leaving school before I finished my degree after 3 years. But yeah, so when Overwatch actually released, I was like in the Netherlands playing on my MacBook Pro with a boot camp Windows partition to play Overwatch on like the iPhone res with the worst settings possible. And you like can't tell which heroes, like Widowmaker and Soldier look the same to me far away, so I would die to the Widow a lot. Be like, oh shit, it's a Widow. I gotta think about that. I gotta press tab and check if it's a Widow or not.
How good did you get? Like, how long did you play on that setup? Because that's obviously just super. Like, that's super appealing.
It was like a few months. It was like super scuffed setup. I knew it was scuffed. I mean, because I had played on like, at least at that time, I think my home setup was like 144 hertz and like a PC that can get enough FPS to use it.
Got it.
So I knew the difference a real setup makes because I had originally started playing TF2 on the laptop and then a worse laptop actually, and then got a PC. I was like, oh, it's a game changer. Then so I knew I was like hard capped in my potential from this laptop setup, but I also knew it didn't matter. I just had to like build the fundamental skills. And at that time it was like that was the first season where the ranking was like the single number, right?
Yeah, it was like 50 or was it like 50th or like?
I want to say I was like in the 70s or something, or maybe like low 70s. I think that was it. So it was like, I don't know. That's like a pretty high level, but I think the best players were like low 80s maybe. So I was like pretty high, but I knew, okay, if I can do this on a laptop, I'll take over. And like also against a bunch of players who have been playing the game for a year because there's like a beta that I can get into for fun, XD. I was very mad about that at the time.
Was it a closed invite? Like, how did you? I see. I wasn't even playing.
Yeah, beta was like closed beta, and then there was like some random invites to the beta, but I never got anything. I never got in until the last 2 days before the game came out. If you pre-ordered it, you can play. So it's like not even a beta.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when I first played Overwatch. But from the whole time, I was in the mindset of like, even while the beta's going on, I'm like watching the beta, thinking I'm gonna go pro in this game, even though I never played it before.
Cool.
That was like my mindset.
Cool. So it didn't really matter. It's not like talent just so much as like that game's really appealing. I'm gonna put the work in. I'm gonna get there if I need to.
Yeah, I mean, there's some talent because I knew TF2 is like similar enough to where like
that's true.
Okay, like,
that's true.
My mechanics are like my projectile aim is going to be better than most people who ever played. Like if you haven't played a projectile FPS, I'm definitely gonna have better aim than you know.
Right.
And then learning the game is, in the end, right, as we see years down the line, having the beta is meaningless after like a year. You know, after less than a year, after the 6 months, the advantage is gone. So
right.
As long as you have that, you know that at the start of the 6 months. You just grind and eventually you catch people.
Makes sense. Okay. So you had your running start. You started into the competitive scene actually pretty quickly. Like obviously it was pretty organic, grassroots, small stuff at the time. But at some point you joined, you were with a team. Eventually it became Luminosity. And this team was maybe didn't feel like so at the time, but was pretty star-studded upon hindsight. I mean, I'm looking at the roster here. Avast, Super, Christopher, Fisher, and then not a lot of people are familiar with this name, but I was familiar with Rob Dab, the legend flex support. How did you get in with that team?
I don't think that was it. I think Christopher was on like another team.
Oh, no. Look
It's
at
not
the
the
lightning.
Christopher who's like in the Overwatch League. It's like a guy from TF2, like
Oh,
Chris
okay.
Tuff,
Okay.
CHRIZTAHFAH. I think it was his name. He was like a TF2 player.
Okay. It's like
So I was on a
Shats
team
and
like that, and
Shats.
then I left the team to play with Super, I think, and then the rest of the Bird Noises guys.
Okay. Okay.
I want to like join with them and like put the rest of the team together.
So
with
how did
them.
you
I don't
meet
think it
these
was like
guys?
fully formed at that time. I just knew them from TF2 like tangentially because I didn't play with them in TF2, but I knew they were like up and coming strong TF2 players who had like kind of just made it to the top level in TF2, but were switching to Overwatch. And so I just thought, oh, these guys are exciting players. And then I knew they were really good, especially Super. I knew was like super, super good from like scrimming with him. I don't even know if I knew him from like at that. I don't even, was there even ranked at that time? I can't remember. Right? It must have been ranked, right? But I don't know if I knew him from the lab. I think we just scrimmed together one time. I was like, oh, these guys are way better than my current team. And I also knew that was useful for my TF2 experience. I think I felt I was like one of the strongest players on the team, the amateur team I was on before before Luminosity or Bird Noises. I still think it was Bird Noises. Before Bird Noises, the team I was on, I knew I was like one of the best players on the team. And so you don't want to be the best player on your team at that phase. It's really bad actually to be the best player. You want to have the players who you think are even better than you on the team. And or at least like on your same level. So I knew Super was like a super strong player, a lot of potential, very young. So I wanted to play with him. I knew Train was also super strong. Rob, like everyone on the team was really strong. Yeah. And then I think Avast wasn't on the team at the start. We were trying main supports, trying to get different people. We tried to get. Do you remember Verbo?
Yeah, I remember Verbo.
We tried to get him, but he declined. Yeah, he went to another team. He dipped on us. It was like, all right, bro, we understand. But then Avast team died. Like we were gonna die as a team. We were like, oh, we can't find a main support. We're done. Let's just go our separate ways. But then Avast team died. I think he was playing tank for the team he was on. We're like, oh yeah, it's gonna complete Lucio. You played TF2, like completely Lucio. And he did, and then we managed a pretty good run in the amateur scene.
Yeah, that's sick. And then obviously that leads directly into Outlaw. So this might be one of the more interesting questions for me because obviously not only is like the first season with Outlaws a very interesting one, and then obviously a lot of controversy with just how that season went, and your whole persona as a whole is like really starts to develop, and people start to go, oh yeah, Jake Overwatch, right? Rip Tire memes. But I think the big one for me is also just like, what was the Wild West, not even the Wild West, because it's never really left the Wild West phase, but what was that season 1 of Overwatch League like? Like, how did the Outlaws approach you? How did those contract negotiations go? How was the initial team building, the coaching structure, working with people in person? Because that was a huge step up from semi-pro to like the league, right? That was trying its best to take itself super seriously. So what was that all like?
To be honest, the structure wasn't that good the first season. Like, I was better at like managing things than the team was. Like I mean, in hindsight, what I realized my biggest mistake was that. So season 1, I came in like no one had that much power or whatever because like I was just happy to make it to the Overwatch League basically. I would have taken basically any offer. Yeah. And then after. Especially after season 1, I think what I should have done was like go LeBron on them and be like, I'll sign the contract, but I get to be the GM. That's what my greatest regret. Because if I had been like the one who picks the roster and controls the contracts, I could have made like a better team. Yeah. But in the moment, I was like, I don't want that responsibility. Maybe I was just like not ready for that. Like I was too young or something. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so the structure wasn't that good. I think most teams had bad structure. Like like I as a player had a lot more impact on like the coaching of the team than anything else in terms of like what we play, like how we're gonna play, what our strats are. I was doing most of that because that's what I had done for all my previous teams where we don't have coaches. It's like I'll just be the one to just to, like run the strategy and stuff. Right. And so in the end, things weren't that professional season 1, so I don't think it was as big of a step up maybe as it might have seemed that all is so professional from the outside. Yeah. It was more. Yeah, season 1 was very much like figuring things out. It was like very exciting, a lot of like flair, so much like money being poured into it, but it wasn't from a true competitive sense. It actually wasn't as big of a step up as it might have seemed. Yeah, definitely a step up though. Yeah, and then having way more riding on every match was big. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I think it's my experience. It's funny because it's like you were saying, it's like it had this facade of being like super professional, but the more I hear about like season 1, especially, the more I realize that like these managers and coaches just had no idea what they were doing at all. So obviously, I think since then things have improved, but obviously, it's a lot more professional now. I mean, everything is at a such higher level. The players are at a higher level. The competition's at a higher level. The coaching is higher level. Management structure, everything. Everyone, but it's natural, right? People improve with time, and Overwatch League was so fast. It wasn't really realistic to like keep pace with that level
Right.
of investment in
Right.
terms of the professionalization.
Right, of course. So I guess like before we move on here, like maybe we'll go back to like a little bit of a grassroots question, because I don't know when the Junkrat meme began, but it had to be around season 1. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'm sure a lot of it's overblown. You were obviously a flex player on a lot of heroes, but the Junkrat one stuck, and it didn't help because that was the initial concussive mine, no fall off damage, the super fast rip tire, all that foolishness in season 1. So why Junkrat? Was that really your favorite hero, or was it just a meme that happened to stick, or like what was it about the hero?
I was always a player who like I just like to exploit the game, like if there's a broken
Yep.
hero, I want to play the most broken hero and like min-max it, at least when I was a pro player, because that's how I thought about the game. Like, oh,
Right.
they're gonna make broken heroes, and I'll just abuse all the I'll be able to play a lot of heroes, be flexible, and then I'll abuse the most broken stuff, and I'm like a projectile player,
Right.
which turns out is not a viable role in Overwatch, unfortunately. But that was like how I came into the game, like thinking I'll just be a projectile player. I don't need to play like hit scanner or tracking heroes.
Yeah.
So I'll just be a projectile player. And so I'll abuse the really broken stuff. And when I saw the Junkrat changes, I was like, holy, this is out of control broken. Like, this is crazy. We should one trick this. I remember I was even like trying out for other AL teams, and in the tryouts, I was like, I want to one trick Junkrat. And they're like, dude, why are you one tricking Junkrat? I'm like, it's fucking broken. Like, I guarantee you. And that was the same patch we played like the first stage on. I was like, see, I was fucking right, guys. It's actually hard broken. You just one trick. And I still think, I mean, it's absolutely a broken hero. Like in the original patch, like it's so psycho broken. So I think it's just I was always a player who wanted to exploit the most broken stuff, and Junkrat was super broken. So
No.
And also I was a projectile player. It was kind of the perfect storm, right?
Makes
like I
sense.
was really mechanically good at Junkrat in terms of like aiming, and like the prediction on him. And then also really good at like weird exploiting heroes that like figure out how to abuse them in a really annoying way and play in a super annoying style that like is really frustrating to play against. Trying to like I think one of the things I did that was really, I think I like in the season 1, I killed so many people with spam because I had like a really TF2 spamming was like a critical skill. Like you have to be a really good spammer. You have to be good at like spamming as the enemy walks up. In TF2, you could like juggle people with spam basically. So if they walk up and they get like bounced into the air, it like they like can't walk forward. It slows them down significantly. So if you have really good spam and you can like anticipate where the enemy wants to walk, you can like deny them from walking up at all, and they have to like pop their Uber like before they even get to fight. It's like so the game is like done for them if that happens. So being a really good at spamming and running away is like that was like a huge part of TF2, and the spamming and running away, and I was expert at that. So Junkrat, I think that is the Junkrat playstyle, spamming and running away.
Sure.
And so in a way, it was like a perfect storm of like all my skills came together.
Okay.
And the hero is super broken.
Okay.
But I think my favorite heroes have always been like Soldier and Genji, honestly.
Okay. So leveraging, I guess,
Alright.
chaining off of that from leveraging really obnoxious broken things that might be irritating. On a similar line of thought is the Jake trash talk that got a lot of attention, even to the point where match chat's muted and stuff like that.
Which is funny because I feel like now Overwatch League everybody talks trash. Like every single player does like worse than I would even do.
Way more.
I think it's funny. I think it just maybe in the beginning I don't know why people didn't do it. I think it's
because a professional league, Jake. You got to behave.
Yeah. I think people were just like I don't know. They had like weird expectations of Overwatch League. It's like it's esports, man. Like I don't know. I never saw it as something crazy or different. It's just like of course I'm gonna talk trash. Like it's more fun to talk trash.
Yeah.
And like some players, it really gets under their skin, so they actually play bad if you talk trash. So it's like, why wouldn't you not do that?
Right. So it's a Junkrat mentality, right? Like, why not?
Yeah. Well, it's like
advantage.
it's just another way to get an advantage. Yeah, it's another way to get an advantage. And some players you don't want to talk trash to because they're gonna not tilt. They're actually gonna be like playing better because you talk trash.
Right.
So they're like match players who can like, which nowadays like in the competitive level, you're pretty much only gonna see players like that who like aren't gonna get unsettled by trash talk because the competition is increased. But just people whose personality is like vulnerable to this, I think you shouldn't even be a competitive player if your personality is vulnerable to it.
Yeah.
But because like that's the whole thing. It's like I mean, trash talking is one aspect of it, but so is the fact that you play in front of a crowd and people are going to criticize you after the match if you lose. Like all those things are in the end the same thing. It's like a psychological pressure. Can you handle it?
Right.
And some people crack in that pressure, and some people thrive under it. And at the current game, you're only going to see people who thrive because the competition has reached a level where you can't survive unless you're optimized for the competition.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly the timing of it. Was the first World Cup after Season 1 Overwatch League?
No, it was before. It was before.
Okay.
Because that was the reason I think I got signed to the Overwatch League was from having a good performance in the World Cup. I think because our team had kind of like fallen off at the end before Overwatch League,
Right.
our Luminosity team, and so and everyone was basically just like waiting room for Overwatch League.
Got it.
But I think the reason I got picked for that World Cup team was because of my calling. So I was like a really good main caller for the team, and that's
And
something
you got
the team
captain.
needed. Yeah. I mean, captain's like a meaningless role, but basically, I mean, I was like IGLing for
Yeah.
the team.
Yeah.
Which at that point in Overwatch, I think was more common, where you have like one person IGLing.
Yeah.
Where now the modern game, everybody understands the game, everybody's IGLing,
Right.
or everybody's communicating together, and some players do it a little more. But at that time, I was like, oh, I can basically take that over, and other people will feed me stuff, but I'll make like a lot of the strats and stuff.
Sure, makes sense. This makes sense.
And so that was my strength, and then it was a perfect storm because also my best heroes, which are like Soldier and Junkrat, are like really good. I don't know if Soldier was really good, honestly. Maybe it was just a less optimized time in the game where that was viable. But Junkrat was definitely really broken, and so I was able to leverage that a lot in the World Cup, and then had a really good performance on Soldier too. So I think that got me a lot of like notoriety in the scene and got me the chance to play in the Overwatch League.
Yeah, and I feel like especially early in that season one Overwatch League that probably did a lot of favors because I can't imagine scouting was good at all. It's probably a lot of name value. Probably had a lot.
No, yeah. So like, and I was like streaming at the time and playing World Cup. So yeah, having the name brand and the value like that was super good for me. To join, because I ended up joining the team that was like corn dogs, right? Basically, that was like what made the original Outlaws, like a mix of a couple people plus corn dogs.
Right. Okay. And then again, I'm getting the timing confused here. So there was at some point you went to the International Olympic Committee and discussed Overwatch.
I think that was after season 1.
Okay.
I think that was between season 1 and season 2.
How did that go?
That was cool. It wasn't Overwatch. I mean, there was like a League of Legends player there and a StarCraft player. I think it was like TLO from StarCraft, who's I think he's running like Shopify Rebellion now on the business side, and a female League of Legends player named Deer, who was there. So and in the end, it wasn't really about Overwatch. It was really more about. It might have been more. I think there was somebody representing. Oh yeah, there was a German FIFA player there.
Okay.
And so it was more talking about esports as a concept as it relates to the Olympic Games, because at that point the Olympics were in the process of admitting a lot of non-traditional sports, which are now in the Olympic Games. So like rock climbing is in the Olympic Games, and like skateboarding is in the Olympic Games, and I think there's some aspects of like snowboarding, maybe like more freestyle type snowboarding events, like where not in the games. I'm not sure on the timeline of all this, but basically the Olympic Games was going through the process of like bringing in all these new things, and sort of esports was like, well, can this work? And I basically told them I don't think it's gonna work, or I made not that I
be honest,
that negative on it, but I just don't think it's a good idea, basically, because crucially. The IP is owned. Nobody owns any sports, right? Like nobody owns basketball, even though there's like the NBA or whatever dominates the market in NA. Nobody owns the game of basketball. You don't pay any. NBA doesn't pay anybody to play the game with these rules and this court and that ball, right? But then like Blizzard owns Overwatch, so Blizzard's gonna have like input on you running an Overwatch event, and I don't think that's really realistic for the Olympics to run an event like that, where, and the games are also constantly changing. And like there's new ones every year, so how are you gonna make like a medal or whatever for a game in the Olympics if it's like you don't play it, you play it for 2 years and then it's gone or whatever? How do you decide what games to put? There's like a million different ones. There's so many hurdles to this ever being a thing. It's like the casual thing. People like when you get in an Uber. Maybe now people know a little bit more about esports, but back in the day, you get in an Uber, somebody asks you what you do. You're like, oh, I play video games for a living. I'm like a pro gamer. They're like, oh, you play like all the games? I mean, that's people's like intuition about it, right? You just like play video games really well. You play like a lot of them. But really, actually, I play only one game, and I'm like a master at it. But that's not. It's very hard to like make that work with the Olympic Games format. There's an obvious disconnect. What are you gonna have, like 50 Olympic Games medals for different video games? It's like crazy.
Can you imagine the fighting over that? Like what games should be represented?
Yeah, what games to do it, right? And then there's like a commercial interest from the businesses or the companies that own the game. There's all these flaws with the idea. But basically, it was a really cool event because just meeting all these awesome people who are passionate about esports, passionate about the Olympics, and learning from them, and just it was a great opportunity. I met some really lovely people. The president of the Olympic Committee. And these like really, or the Olympic Commission, I guess, I can't remember. But so met some awesome people and had a great time, and they flew me to Switzerland.
That's awesome.
Class, which is pretty fun.
That must have been really nice.
It's a beautiful country.
So go on from good to bad here, because at this timeline we're on to season 2 of Outlaws, which season 1 wasn't like phenomenal, but you guys did okay. Season 2, I think, was, regardless of what your expectations were, it wasn't great.
Bad.
So
I would say bad.
Okay.
Could have been worse, but bad.
So I'm not necessarily digging up juice here, but I want to know what your thoughts were on the season as a whole. Why do you guys think that you struggled, and did any of that have to do with? Did any of that lead to your decision to retire at least temporarily for the next season?
Yeah, it did have an effect. I was like really burned out after that season because I like was still trying my hardest, but it was also kind of hopeless. I think it was like, in my opinion, it was dumb not to make more changes. It was like, I don't know, our roster is just poorly managed, in my opinion. I'm not gonna name names, but like we should have had better players. Like we could have like taken the budget we had and had a much stronger team.
Right.
Getting Dante was great. I think that's a good decision, but we just like it was like insane to think you can just bring in one player and everything's gonna be okay. We just need a tracer player. In the end, that was like a very poor read of what our actual issues were as a team, especially because every other team leveled up. Like, sure, if we had played season 1 again with Dante, we probably would have done pretty well. But like everyone leveled up so much in season 2, and we basically made this like we like filled a hole in our roster, but we didn't like level up. You know,
you almost moved laterally rather than
yeah. Well, yeah, I think we were better than we were season 1, but it like everyone else improved way more than we did, so we fell behind drastically, and I think that was like poor management basically. Okay. I think it was like, I don't know, irresponsible or whatever. And maybe, I mean, Flame maybe was like too close to all of us. I think he was too close to all the players to like, because I think we needed to like cut people and sign better players in the end, because the market had evolved. There were more great players. And so I think honestly the management was just poorly done. I think we should have had a way stronger roster that season.
Makes sense.
With the amount of budget we had.
Makes sense.
And so that was the season I regret of like, I should have like LeBron them and like take over the team and just force my way. But that would have been like, I don't know, it's like crazy ego move, and I didn't want to do that. I felt like bad about that.
Yeah.
Even though I was kind of aware that that was an option, because after season 1 I was so like popular as a player. I was like, oh, I can go like crazy and take over. But I thought, oh, it's not right. It's like a player shouldn't do that. In hindsight, I think I should have, but you know, that'll be my regret, I guess, for my competitive career.
So I guess a bit of a weird question, piggybacking off of that, and especially after talking Olympic Committee and the World Cup and then season 1, you became, whether accidentally or purposefully, a household name. I think certainly in a world of gamers, having somebody who's relatively charismatic and well spoken is a big leg up over the competition, for lack of a better term. But you, I mean, maintain as a pillar of not even just Overwatch, just esports in general since then. Why do you think that is? What do you think you bring to the table that I think is unique, not just in terms of as a player, but as like, I guess, a face of the franchise?
Honestly, I think it's really, I mean, I did speech and debate in high school, like competitive speech and debate for all 4 years of high school. We would like travel around and like go to tournaments. So, I mean, I wasn't like that great at it, but I was like decent, and we competed very seriously, I would say, at my school. It was like public school, but we were like pretty serious. Like some of the kids in my school were like very, very good and would go like far in the tournaments. I would kind of do like, so basically the way those debate tournaments work is you have like 6 debates, and then if you're like 5-1 or 6-0, you go on to like the playoffs basically. And if you're 4-2, there's like a point system where maybe you go in, maybe you don't. And I would usually be like 3-3 or 4-2, but maybe I made the playoffs like a couple times, but I didn't take it that seriously. But I was like, whatever, I was decent at debate. I did it well enough. And so I think I had that like confidence and speaking ability so I'm able to, basically I'm a strong communicator at the end of the day. And it came from that experience in speech and debate. And also a lifetime of like, I don't know, my family's all talkers, so it's a lot at the dinner table. It's a battle. Yeah. But then I was very, very ready to like go in front of a camera and talk. I'm not shy about that, or just talk about any subject coherently and cogently. And maybe I can, since I'm also a hardcore gamer and I love esports, I can bring a perspective that is often not unseen, but maybe unheard, because a lot of people who follow this hobby are like naturally introverted or shy or not good talkers, not wanting to talk a lot, not comfortable with that. So then they're often just, they're doing their thing, but it's on the sidelines and other people aren't going to hear about it or understand it. They're going to write it off more easily. So having somebody who can communicate it in a way that outsiders can understand, I think that is like the key value I brought to the table.
Makes sense. And it feels like something that esports and just video games in general has really needed. Because like you were talking earlier, it's like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I play video games. Immediately that gets misunderstood. And so having somebody that can actually communicate what that really means, mastering a game, communicating with a team, that's pretty valuable, because it's not only a world where there's a lot of introversion, but there's also a world where people just don't really understand what it actually means. So I'm sure that was exactly a huge boon to the scene. So I guess very smooth transition here. You being Chatty Cathy out here, communicating well, being able to kind of explain things, that led to your retirement and into season 3 of casting. So how did that, I mean, I could probably guess why that transition happened, but how did that transition exactly happen? How did that ball get rolling, and what was your experience like actually casting?
I knew I wanted to take a break from competing because I was like super burned out after season 2, to be honest. And I was still under contract with the Outlaws, and I was like, oh fuck, I can't handle another season, man. I can't do it. So I just asked the guys, 'cause I knew the guys who like ran the talent side basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, like, can we grab lunch? I want to like meet with you guys about something. And I just basically asked them, hey, can I come be talent next season? And they're like, all right, let's do it. So that was basically how it happened. I mean, I just asked for a meeting, and I knew the right people.
Sick.
So
Sick.
that's basically the nuts and bolts of it. But they were obviously excited because, you know, to be able to bring in a high level professional perspective to the talent side, I think is like really valuable. Yeah.
It's a skill. It's like you already had the base skill set that you needed for it. You just needed, I guess, sharpening up the edges. So what was that season like? I mean, obviously the infamous solo cast on Justice versus Mayhem that everybody remembers, but I think overall people remember as a whole, like your casting was obviously really good, and especially somebody like me was at that time, I guess season 3, I was starting to get like a little bit more into coaching, and I definitely appreciated the side of things where I felt like I wasn't being spoon fed, a bronze or silver take, which I think it's hard with casting, right? Like you're talking to bronze players, to GM players, and maybe people that don't even play the game. But I always appreciated your more broad in, even like explaining the higher end of the game in a more digestible format. But what was your experience like casting that season? Do you have any interesting stories, or what were your favorite moments, or any difficulties that you ran into that maybe you weren't thinking about ahead of time, or I don't know? Share your story.
The biggest unexpected thing was just COVID and like quarantine. I mean, went from traveling a lot at the beginning of the season was kind of draining, but it was kind of fun too. It was like exciting. And then being able to cast like on stage, not on stage, but, you know, casters usually would be on like semi on stage, you know, you're like in the crowd, maybe a booth or stand or whatever. Yeah, a booth. And so it was like, and you could feed off the energy of the crowd. So it was super fun, super exciting. Basically the fun of being a pro player, but like not stressful. But then when we went to quarantine mode and casting from home, that was pretty rough. You're not with your casting partner. There's all these technical difficulties you're dealing with. You're just at home. You have to like bring that energy and excitement, even though you're just at home, and it's like hard to feel it. Yeah. So that was probably the biggest challenge, I guess. The solo cast is probably like the highlight of the year, I guess, in terms of like, okay, you know what? So many technical difficulties. Like ZP's lagging out, and then they try to bring Uber in, but then Uber's lagging out. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just going in. I'm just gonna go for it. So that was fun. It was fun, and it was cool. I knew I could let loose because it was like the last map. I was like, all right, screw it. I'm going all in. I'm gonna pop off. And just take over this cast. And my voice will be done, but I don't only have to do one map. Let's go. So
that's King's Row, correct?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. So
awesome.
I just rolling. At that point, I was like, all right, you know what? I had so many technical difficulties. I'm just gonna make it happen. Just do it live.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, the biggest challenge was probably the work from home, COVID, which I guess everybody's familiar with in one way or another.
Right. That really stole the life energy out of a lot of fun that season. So I guess, I mean, we're back at it again. Like, you were at another transition point. You've had 2 seasons as a player. You're now casting, and then you come back as a player for season 4. What made that decision? Because something had to be pulled besides, my love of the game. I imagine something else with the Houston Outlaws organization had to shift for that to be even considered. What were the moving parts behind the scenes that prompted that decision?
I think because I knew Junkrat was coming to the team, I was like even willing to consider it. And then I also still had like some competitive desire. But to be clear, even from the beginning, I was coming back as like a player coach. So I'd play sometimes. And in the end, what I thought is like, I'll be like the Junkrat and Pharah player. Yeah. If we like, there's like a specialty meta or a specialty map, I'll play that map. And then like, that's my game. That's my role as a player. Right. And then for the most part, I'm coaching. Right. But yeah, in the end, I ended up playing like a lot of Brig that season, which wasn't really my plan, but ended up being the right move, I guess, for the team. Yeah. But yeah, I think the reason I came back largely was Junkrat, and also the whole roster overhaul. Like the team was building in a new way, management changed, head coach changed. So I was like, okay, it's a very different org than the one that I walked away from feeling super burnt out. So it felt like something I could actually be excited about coming back.
Right. So I guess one small question and one question, I guess larger as a whole, is obviously, I imagine that you've been asked this multiple times, but I'm going to be that guy. How is that position as player coach? How did that was there any difficult moments where it felt like there was a conflict of interest, or it felt like you had to second guess yourself about why am I thinking this is to be the case? And then I guess just largely as a season as a whole, how did that season go overall? I guess especially compared to season 1 and season 2.
Definitely better than season 1 and season 2. I would say it felt like we were like a much stronger team, although the competition was also more intense. But it was also like a rebuild year for us, so we kind of priced in that okay, it's gonna be hard. We're like trying to turn a franchise around, so we always knew it would be like we kind of knew how that would be the nature of the year, because players don't want to join a team that has poor performance.
Right.
So we were like a little bit limited on like putting together the strongest possible team that we could, but we did basically just good enough to where we kind of broke our history as a franchise of being a team that went from like average to mediocre to worse, and then changed the trajectory upwards, which made this last year possible to where we could build like a real super team and actually, go for top results.
Right, exactly. Okay. And when you transitioned from the end of that season into coach for season 5 this past season, what sparked that transition for you? I guess we'll just start off with that question.
I knew I didn't want to play because I like that the season before last was like so scuffed with me playing. I was like, I don't really want to be a pro player anymore. I don't have like the drive to like grind Overwatch like that anymore.
Yeah,
and I kind of forced myself to do it that year to like, okay, I'll have to practice hard, but like I didn't want to do it anymore. The passion wasn't there anymore to put the grind in.
Right.
Especially playing support. I was like, I don't fucking play support. I don't enjoy this role. Especially not Brig. I mean, it's like fine here, but I don't want to like be a professional player if that's the hero I'm going to be playing. It's not worth it to me anymore. I don't enjoy it. But I knew the coaching I could still do really well. So being a full-time coach is actually much more clarifying. It was like clear what I needed to do and clear what my role was. And I was able to grow a lot, I think, this last year in terms of like building relationships with the players and learning how to be an effective coach. A lot of growing pains, but I got I think a lot better at coaching from last year.
Obviously, the team did very well as a result. Some sure your impacts were pretty significant there. What was it like working with Junkbuck?
Junkbuck's like a super passionate guy. I would say like very cares a lot. It, like brings the fire to the team, and like the team is always going to have that motivational intensity behind it as long as Junkbuck's there. But not only does he bring that, he also has like a really great read of the game and a really great understanding of like how we should play overall. So that was, I think, really valuable to have him on the team. I think everybody will always say that about Junkbuck. He's like a very, very smart coach, and also brings a lot of intensity, brings like a lot of understanding to the game, knows how things need to be, and is willing to like put the work in to make them happen. Willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
That's how I think of Junkbuck.
Yeah, makes sense. I guess that this is an interesting one for you because we've seen some player to coach transitions. We've seen a lot of people just kind of come in as a coach, period. But you had the unique perspective of not only did you player coach, not only did you cast, but you're very clearly somebody, even as a player, who was very leadership oriented, communication oriented, IGL oriented, even going back to 2016 and the World Cup situation. So that kind of makes you feel like I'm a coach. I'm prepared to be a coach. I've at least experienced that side of the game. You were saying even in season 1, you were kind of doing more coaching than you probably felt like you should have based off of what the team needed. But you're actually fully a coach season 5. Were there any awkward transitions or unique challenges that you never really considered as a player, even in an IGL, that were, I guess, unique to the coaching role? Or what were, I guess, the things that you never really thought about, but now that I'm a coach, oh wow, this is a little bit challenging and this is a little bit interesting?
In a way, it never felt awkward to me because I feel I was like eased in really well from, like you said, having that experience as like an IGL type player, like a team leader type player, to being a player / coach where I'm like coaching mostly but playing a little bit, and then to being a full-time coach. I think the biggest things I had to grow and learn on as a coach was me and Junkbuck. I mean, maybe it's the way Junkbuck works. It's kind of like a unique relationship where what I realized throughout the year was that what Junk wanted and needed from me was for me to actually, like, for it to not be a hierarchical relationship where he's the head coach and I just like help him and then he controls everything. He wanted me to like take over sometimes. And so that was my biggest learning experience, was learning to like lead reviews by myself basically. And then, well, Junk would be there and helping the review, but having me lead sometimes would be like really good for his process. And so I think we to build a more like equal relationship, I think was like that was the biggest learning experience, to learn how to basically be a head coach style person. Like even though I'm
Right.
not the head coach, that I can like take over as head coach sometimes and like lead a review. Or if I have some ideas about the game, I can like lead, and just to always have those different perspectives flowing from the coaching staff. And it's not all gated through the head coach. It's like anybody is coming in with their input and their ideas and making the team stronger. And then we're testing that idea. It doesn't work. Okay, we're testing the next idea, like, but that there's always that flow of new ideas. So having the confidence to like lead a discussion rather than just participate in it, I think that was like a big growth area for me in the last year. That was probably the biggest thing I had to like improve at.
Okay. And I assume it went well. I mean, based off of this season's results. And I guess if you had any interesting stories, highlights, lowlights, midlights, whatever, to share with this past season. Obviously, you guys finished really, really strongly. Exciting performance on LAN. Obviously, didn't quite get to where you wanted to go, but I think regardless, we'd be foolish to say it was anything but a good season, right? Any stories to share?
Happy to have the result that we did.
Yeah.
Even though obviously you always want to get first place and win it all. I think the biggest thing this season was that we were able to be remarkably consistent. Even though we did like the earlier stages, we never had the result we really wanted. We also never really just got destroyed. Like we were always like, in the upper middle, trying to break into the top level.
Yep.
And I think because we had that consistency and we were able to beat the top teams in the regular season matches a lot, we always knew like that we're a strong team and that we can make it work. We just need to like not mess up basically, or find our meta. But we really never felt that we were like far from where we needed to be. We were always on the cusp, which is painful, but from my experience, I know how much worse it can be if you're not on the cusp. You're just like in the bottom, in the doldrums. Like it is really bad. And so I knew how much worse things could be. And so I think that knowledge kept me positive and motivated and able to be like a positive force for the team and like bringing the right energy to the team environment to allow us to like grow and continue to like continue at that treading water phase, so that maybe we always have the potential to go above. We never lose faith in that. And I think that made it possible for us to succeed in the playoffs. But also we had incredibly good players this season. And they're the ones who I credit with everything.
Yeah, of course. And I think you guys dealt with a lot of adversity as well. I think like obviously, you did very well over the course of the season, but dealing with the Piggy transition and Doge, and then Lep coming on, and then obviously the Dante transition as well. Like there were a lot of hoops that you guys had to jump through, but over the course of all of that, like you said, you were able to kind of tread water and keep yourself competitive. And honestly, like there were a lot of metas, at least in terms of the scrim bucks. I remember scrimming you guys, honestly, was just, especially at some metas, just felt horrible. Like you guys were just unbelievably good, and like that was always very impressive to me. Like despite all of this crap, you guys were always to be honest, like you say, mid to top tier. I always considered you, with very few exceptions, to be among the top tier of teams, and I'm glad like the end of season result like actually showed that.
Yeah, I feel like we were in the top tier, but we were like, from my perspective, we weren't like the top of the top.
We were, like, I hear that.
We could beat the top of the top, but we weren't consistent against the top of the top. We were like, I don't know, probably over the whole season. I think our win rate was pretty high over the whole season. I made a spreadsheet to keep track of like all our scrim results for the whole season, and I think our win rate was like, for in the beginning, actually the Doom metas, our win rate was crazy. We had like a 70-something% scrim win rate, like map win rate on all scrims. So we were like really, really high, and then but then over the course of the whole season, it was like high 60s or 60, basically winning like 2/3 of the scrims, which is super good. Great result for us. But also like you want to be just that little bit higher, right? Because we know there's teams who still beat us, and we just I guess it's lucky in a way to be in a point where you're upset that there's any team who can beat you, rather than it being every team can beat you. Like we know we're gonna win against certain teams, so that's something you take for granted, I guess, when you're in that position, but is actually pretty meaningful. It means that you're significantly above the middle.
Yeah, of course. And I think that it's also tricky too, because like you got these teams like the Glads and Dallas who, if the meta rolls their way, they're just going to beat everybody, So it's always like trying to kind of weave your ways through the metas where like, okay, Dallas is on a Lucio meta.
We want to be able to beat Dallas on the Lucio meta. We want to be able to beat Glads on like the double flex support meta. That was that's the level where we were like trying to get to, but struggling. But we could always win against most teams who aren't in their like super comfort zone.
Sure. So you've talked about this at large, and so I don't want to like rehash this, but obviously you retired from the esports, at least from playing coaching Overwatch League. I guess what were the main things that prompted that, and then do you have any plans moving forward, or is it just kind of feel things out, or is it secret?
The biggest thing is that so my family, my dad has Parkinson's disease, which he's been diagnosed like over a decade. But yeah, so basically, it's gotten to a point where I want to be closer to home. I want to be able to like help out with my mom and just help out with my family. I mean, it's not like I really need to be there all the time or something. It's not like in this dire scenario,
Sure,
but I just
sure.
realized, you know, time is something you can't get back, and I want to like prioritize my family higher than I have been
Sure.
in my career. And I'm at a point where that kind of makes sense to do right now with what I want and where my passions are. So my goal is to do talent work next season. Hopefully, I'll be working Overwatch League talent again
Okay.
next
Awesome.
season. If that doesn't happen, I might do freelance esports work, and I might do that with Overwatch League. Who knows? And I might the ultimate backup plan is to just finish college, because I did drop out after 3 years of college, where I was almost done with my degree. I was going to finish a semester ahead of time even, or be on pace for that. So I'm very close to finishing my degree. And so maybe it'll make sense to like take 6 months or a year and just like get that degree and just finish it off, because I feel like if you at a certain point you're never going to do it if you don't get it done.
Yeah.
So it feels like that could be a good option for me. And then maybe I just move on in my life, do something totally unrelated to esports. Maybe I work in esports. I don't know, but that'd be a great way for me to like kind of feel things out over the next year or two. So a lot of it is unknown, but I'm sort of keeping a web of possibilities in mind of like different things I could do with my career. In terms of how I do that.
And if you do move on, you've checked a lot of boxes, more boxes than probably anybody in the scene, really.
I don't have any regrets for like all the time I spent in esports. I'm happy I was able to do it. Hopefully I can continue succeeding in the space. I love gaming. I love esports. I hope to continue working in the area. But if not, like, it was an awesome experience, and I'll treasure it, you know? So it's like, I feel anything can happen, and I'm just going to like ride the wave. That's how I've always looked at things.
Yeah.
You know, you never really know. You never know if you're going to get a contract next season as a player. You never know like as a coach, as a talent, as anything. Right. So you have to have that, open-mindedness to like, okay, there's a lot of possibilities, and I'm just gonna like ride the way the tea leaves fall, and I'm just gonna make the best of it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, Jake. I'm going to end the interview now, and now let's go to some Junkrat.
All right, that's what the people are waiting for. They're waiting for the Junkrat coaching. Do you have a replay code for me?
Well, no, because replay codes got wiped, but I thought way ahead of time. And so what I did is I recorded it unlisted, the replay code POV last night.
Oh, okay, cool. So I can pull it up on YouTube? Or...
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll send you, because your Discord stream quality will probably be a little higher than mine, because I have issues with bitrate in mine. So this should be the unlisted link right there. And it's just a push map. And let me actually pull up the message of the person who sent me. So I pinged a bunch of people. I was like, hey, got a free Junkrat coaching. You guys message me. Mm-hmm. And this is... Masters 3 with Masters 1 peak. Junkrat, almost essentially an OTP this season. It looks about 50 hours of Junkrat this season.
I mean, Junk's very viable, I think. So,
yeah.
Like in terms of one-tricking,
yeah,
not too bad. This is a pretty rough Junkrat map, to be honest. But
yeah. So,
but if you're a one-trick, that's the thing about one-trick. You gotta find your way in the hard scenario. That'll do. Like this person probably doesn't need too much help playing Junkrat in like the really comfortable areas they know how to play.
Right.
This is probably like the hard thing to do. So you have to like. Be tricky to make it work, have a weird play style. So.
And as I was recording this, I actually think this is going to be the perfect review for that exact topic, because it is New Queen Street, which isn't exactly Junk's best map, and it's versus a very awkward composition to play versus. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity to kind of talk about that flexibility. So if you can stream over Discord at the same time, is that possible?
All right, let me try. See if it lags my stream.
If it's not, just holler.
My stream is looking good. Do you see it? You see it?
I do. Looks fine for me.
All right. Let me pull my OBS, and then all right. I think we're ready to go.
So when you're starting Junkrat, like you're coaching Junkrat, like I guess like let's put it this way: like you're playing Junkrat, you don't know what the composition is. You're rolling out.
Let me get some water before I start talking.
You're good.
We gotta reload.
You're good. That's fine. So this is perfect. So I can just talk to Jake's chat now. Hello, chat. How are you doing? You might notice that on your screen. I don't know if he's got the screen pulled up, but it says, Unter, stop playing Overwatch. Don't be like Unter. It's a lesson to learn. Don't have a mullet. Do not grow facial hair. Do not act like a fool. People might make fun. Oh, okay, I was talking with your chat. We had a good time.
Okay. My chat's used to me ignoring them, so good to see somebody's taking care of them.
Okay, so you're starting a Junkrat VOD. You don't know what you're seeing. Let's say you're rolling into a game. What are some things that you're initially thinking about as Junkrat? Like at this point in the game, you're about to walk out. Mental preparation, Sojourn. You're gonna see Sojourn, right? You're gonna see Kiriko. You don't know what tank. What are your initial like checklists of things to think about?
I think the only thing right, rolling out, at least in ranked, the only thing I think about is like, if I know players on another team, I'll think about their comp. But realistically, like you said, I'm just assuming it's like some kind of sniper comp.
Yeah.
So that's the meta right now. Kiriko, sniper comp. And then I'm just thinking about my team comp. I think that's the most important thing you think about when you're rolling, because you don't know. Once you see their team comp, you have to think about it. But you don't want to like think too much about it because you don't really know.
Right.
You know, unless you know for sure they have like some Torb one trick or whatever, you can like, I'll be ready to shoot the turret. But other than that, like, yeah, you don't want to think too much. I think going into the rollout, you just want to play a default and think about how your team's going to play, because that's the info you have at the moment. I would kind of wait until I see the other team comp to like think about it too much.
Okay, makes sense.
I would just roll out in a default way that's like pretty neutral.
Okay.
I wouldn't do some like crazy flank rollout where I might die to Tracer until I know they don't have Tracer, right? So
True. Okay.
But should we just get started?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. You could do the volume on your end. It's totally up to you. I skip around. I skip some of the dead time between fights, but that's mostly it.
Yeah. So let's see the rollout. I should see if they do efficient rollout. Okay, they got the efficient rollout. The already a conk line here. Oh, missed their rollout, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. This spam, sure. So honestly, in this elo, I see everyone rolling out here. Like I see this when I play quick play, like everyone rolls out here for some reason. I don't know why people do this. Like I guess you kind of have to if nobody goes top. But like really, you should be telling your whole team to go top. It's like really good on this map. Like because they can be on the car, but the car cannot move for 15 seconds, so there's no risk of them pushing for a while. And then if you can like get. Like on Junkrat, the place you would want to be is like up here. If your team that dominates the high ground and they get pushed out, then you could be like up in this high ground, like shooting down at people, throwing traps down on them, just being super annoying, and then it's really hard for them to get on you. Whereas I think this position on the low ground, I'd be scared of somebody like they could be on the high ground and they could kill you from the up here. You're easy to catch down here. You don't have much to do other than like just jump straight backwards, which is kind of a weak play.
Right, that makes sense.
So I don't mind playing around these buses, I guess. This is like kind of okay, but if your whole team's here, I guess this is like probably the best place for Junk. But I think in general, I would still, the way this is like played at a high level, at least, is everybody goes high ground. You dominate. If you have the dominant high ground position, then you're probably gonna have a big advantage in the first fight.
So I've got a question for you real fast. So I think like this is maybe like the Overwatch 2 adjustment, maybe. But
yeah,
generally just like Junkrat historically just spam here, right? Just spam. But you're talking about like going high ground. You're talking about like looking to flank around buses. Is this just the new Junkrat assassination playstyle, or like how do you play this hero when there's no second tank to just AFK, turn brain off, and spam?
Yeah, I think one thing, I mean, it's just like a fundamental to Junkrat is like what's Junkrat's biggest strength as a hero? It's fighting in like extreme close range. I think that's the thing people don't think about enough with Junkrat, where like you said, in Overwatch 1, you can like spam, you're just like standing behind shields, you're breaking their shields. That's like your most important. You can like, the biggest thing I felt in Overwatch 1 was that Junkrat has a unique mechanic where he could begin his damage dealing phase before any other DPS can. Which is to say that like the enemy is taking damage from you when they're not even in LOS yet. Like you're already spamming their walk up when they're like, you can't even see them yet, you're already spamming them. When no other hero, like almost no other hero can do that other than like heroes like Genji and Tracer that could see them by being in a really forward position. But now I think Overwatch, that's always been Junkrat's strength, but that's just less relevant in Overwatch 2, where there's not like two tanks to like always be spamming like that. But the strength that has always been there and that is like really impactful is that if somebody walks around a corner on you, you like almost always win. I mean, like if you're like really close range, you have like insane, you don't even have to hit shots. You could just throw 2 shifts and kill them, you know? And like realistically, you're like the most terrifying hero in the game to run into at point blank range. So playing around these like choked out corners with the bus is really an annoying thing to do for the enemy team. I also think this is like a small thing, but anytime I would come up to like a corner like this is like a hard corner, right? Where they can't see you when you're on the bus, and then you peek here, and then, okay, there's a bit of a sideline here. Like this Cassidy here, this is actually scary. This Cassidy is like a scary hero to fight at this moment. So whenever I would peek a corner like this on Junk, I would always like just AD jiggle peek the corner and then like see if anyone's there and then actually walk out.
Got it.
Because this moment when you turn the corner is actually a scary moment where someone being over here is like scary. It's like a little bit out of your range to fight effectively where the hit scan has an advantage. So I would be like, as soon as I walk this way, I would be like either going from one corner to maybe the right corner here would be another place you could play, and then maybe the left corner here, and then maybe this bus corner. Basically, you want to be up like right next to cover almost all the time. Like this position I like a lot, where you're peeking to shoot each shot, and you're not like staying in the sideline. Like I really like this I like, but this I really don't like that you're like going here to like shoot up over the butt. This is like some like no value type play, like I don't know, 1 in a million somebody dies of this. But like when you're here, there's this angle to look at you, there's this angle to look at you. I guess the hog's covering you here, but this angle to me is like I want you looking here over on this left side of the screen. My mouse is a little behind my cam, but like this is the scary angle, right? Like you always want to be scared of the angles on junk that are very long range or like medium long range on you, because you have no ability to fight back really. So if they're hit scan, if there's like an ash here, you need to hide instantly. You know, you need to be ready to hide. So you should be like looking at it and thinking, okay, is there somebody there? If nobody's there, then you can keep going to the next corner. But you need to always be mindful of the heroes that should scare you. And like, see, you take this headshot from Ash because you're not paying attention, and that's like, oh, you know, now the fight is scary and stressful.
So just assume that there's something peeking that angle, just so you can just play like that much better.
It's just anytime you're in a long angle, you need to be looking at the long angle because you need to see if there's somebody there. Like the way you're gonna play, if nobody's there, then maybe you keep walking and you don't care. But if you every corner you're like peek the corner, check the angle, peek the corner, check the angle, because you don't. If the Ash is just shooting you in the side, that's like so bad for you, right? You need to know she's there so you can hide from her. And the way Junkrat wants to be played in this Overwatch 2 playstyle is like, if they're in the long angle, you're hiding, you're not fighting. But you're constantly attempting to cross the angles. Okay, someone's watching it, I go back and I spam more. Okay, I try again. So he's watching it, I go back, I spam more. Eventually, they're not going to be watching the angle. Eventually, you're going to like be able to get up behind people and get up into the like close corner angles where you're like peeking off cover and spamming, that's the strongest thing you can do on Junk, where unless they have like a Widow or Sojourn who can one-hit you, like the Ash cannot one-hit you, right? So you can constantly be like peeking corners and backing off. Oh my god, this is a psycho play. Absolute psycho play. Like, I don't mind this play, like jumping up, I guess. But if it were me, I would like jump right into the window, try to get a one-shot, and instantly run away. Like, you like keep running in, and it's like, whoa, this is crazy, right? Like, you're 100% gonna die. And it's like, I don't know, 50-50 if you get the kill. So this is like a bad play in that sense. It happens you get the kill, so it ends up being like, okay. But like, if you miss this, you're going to die no matter what, whether you get the kill or not. So if you're going to push in like this, you want to like push in, attempt the one-shot kill, and then immediately run away. And then if they chase you, then you destroy. Then they're overextended. They're, oh my god, they try to kill you, and now that's what you want on Junkrat, right? You're wanting to like trigger people to chase you by constantly poking, and you can even attempt these one-shot jump-in kills. You just need to be like, you're like ready to run. If like when you try it, hopefully it works and you get the kill. But even if you get the kill, you want to get out and live. You don't want to go 1 for 1. You want to get one and live. And then they try to chase you and kill you, and that's when, if the enemy's chasing you, that's like the worst case for them, basically. When they're trying to like hunt you down, and then you're backing around corner after corner, and every single corner is a chance for you to one-shot them, and it's a chance for you to like bounce your bombs around the corner. You know, all those, they're all opportunities for you. So you really want to like be pulling them to the corners. So here I think he's setting up for a jump. And okay, just a tire. I like this with the tire. This is like a really good thing. This experienced Junkrat player is like, you want to hide on the hiding on corners is really strong, especially if the enemy has like Tracer and Doomfist. A lot of times those heroes will try to kill you when you pop the tire. Like they might, your tire might go kill somebody, but then they might come trade you as well, which is another, it's like, okay, you use an ult, but it's still 1 for 1. So hiding on your body, the tire makes no noise when you do this. Very experienced players will know if they don't hear any noise from the tire, it means it's still on your body. And so like I know that, so I know when I'm playing against Junkrat players, I'm like, I don't go look for them until I hear the tire driving. So then I know it's not on them anymore. But technically they should know it's like still hiding on you. But most players, they hear the ult noise, and then like 3 seconds later, it's like they forget about it, or they just don't know the game well enough to know that this is where the tire still is. So that you can third person peek, which is really good. Nice one-shot kill on where that's an advanced Junkrat play where you put the conch mine down before you tire, so you let the cooldown cycle while you're in the tire. It's a good thing to do when you're like rolling out and gonna pop a tire. You like use both conks to roll out, and then you pop the tire.
Right, makes
and
sense.
then your conks are back. But this person already does that, so they have like clearly like a comfort on the hero, like an understanding of some of the min maxing. This is good. Something is small, but one thing I like to do whenever I'm doing a blind spam, like a true blind spam like this, before this, is like even before actually, when they're just shooting into the window. Let me see. Is you really, whenever you're blind spamming, you really want to subtly change the angles. So this is fine, and then the Doomfist is in the room, right? So you want to spam him, but don't keep shooting the same exact spot. Just even if you're gonna go like shoot one here, then shoot one at the ceiling, then shoot one over to the right as you walk, like shooting like this, all these are gonna have the exact same trajectory. So from the enemy team's perspective, as soon as you see one, then you see like the next bomb and it's on the same trajectory, it's like really easy. Like obviously, you just like don't stand there. That's the one spot that I need to not stand. But if you're shooting like one here, one here, one here, one here, then it's like all bouncing around the room, and it becomes like, it's even good players will like walk into one of the bombs, and that can sometimes like mess them up. So anytime you're doing like a true blind spam, you don't actually know what you're shooting at, you're just trying to like spam a room, that's where you want to like switch it up. Or you're like spamming high angle, like, and the enemy's walking through a choke, you want to just do slightly different aim, like a little bit at a time. It doesn't have to be like complete, you're still spamming a general area, but you're not gonna you don't want them to be literally on identical trajectories, because that's very, very easy to dodge for even like, not even like good players, just like anybody. If you see like 5 Junkrat bombs on one trajectory, it's like, okay, don't walk into that one trajectory.
Right.
But if they're all bouncing around, you have to like really be focused on that to dodge them all, and then that makes you vulnerable to your teammates can make a play, etc., etc. So the little slight variation in your aim, or just like jumping up and down while you're aiming, and like going left, right with your crosshair while you're aiming, like even those changes are going to mean that the bombs have very different trajectory and become harder to dodge. I think one thing is like, when you're fighting like this against Doom, I would not use the second conk. Like, I think in general, you don't want to pop the second conk unless it's like really bad, because you can like escape with that one a lot of the time.
That's true.
Especially against somebody who's, if you can one hit them, like against the heroes you can one hit, I would take the risk and try and one hit them, because they're the DPS that can actually kill you. But against tanks, I would like always save conks to run away. Maybe if I have both of the skills, then I'll press one of them just for damage. But unless I'm really confident my team has like got me covered with healers, I will save the second conk to like get out of dodge.
Right. It's your damage cooldown, but also your escape cooldown too.
Yeah. So maybe you use the first one as like a risky attempt to kill, but then the second one, I would like be more conservative with it. Okay, big tire coming around from the back is nice. Yeah, no criticisms there.
Nice.
For sure.
Nice.
So far, the ult usage has been good, and I think the ult usage is super important on Junk.
Uh-oh.
This is good. As soon as it looks bad, you should instantly run away. I think that's really important on Junk. You have actually, like, the conk is an extremely broken escape tool if you use it right. So being able to, like, when you don't take bad fights on Junkrat. Like a hit scan mid range, you just run, That's like one of Junkrat's strengths, is that he can constantly run away. And remember, you want to create the scenario where the enemy gets aggroed to chase you. And because good players will know, like, okay, as soon as the Junkrat runs away, you literally just leave him alone. Like, it's a really bad idea to chase him. But probably a lot at this rank, the more times you keep peeking and peeking and peeking and peeking, eventually somebody's going to get mad and like chase you. And that's when they're really vulnerable. Oh shit, Renegade OW, thanks for the 10 gifteds. Insane. Legendary, 10 gifted.
Nice.
This person, it's interesting to watch, because this person clearly has like a strong mastery of a lot of the fundamentals on Junkrat. Like their aim is good, and like a lot of their like min-maxing skill usage is good.
Wide peak there, you had to be really careful. Kind of what you're talking about earlier.
I think they thought the Hanzo was enemy too. I don't think that's bad, actually. I think this is actually a really strong thing to attempt on Junk, because in this scenario, I mean, maybe he goes out too far. Like, I would stay. If I was gonna attempt this, like I like going up here, like because you see who is it? Is it you have a hero taking space for you here, right? Who is it? Someone was in there. It's so the Hanzo's already up there. So the Hanzo's already up there. I think he heard the Reaper, so he's like thinking about that. The Bob comes into the flank, so he can't stay main. So this is a really strong play, especially because the Reaper is behind you, able to kill the Reaper. And then now, like, you have control of this area. Personally, I think it's probably better to peek this door because you're a little closer to them. But basically, I think this peek is this is like one of the best things Junkrat can do. Like, if you hit this, it's like you win the game, you know? Like, you full cap probably. So I like this attempt a lot. And then you just instantly run away as soon as it goes bad. I think they just thought the Hanzo was an enemy, so they kind of messed up with their conk. But it's not that big of a deal. I like when you get the opportunity to like show up on the flank and like you did your careful, okay, like I knew where the enemy was, and then okay, now I have my opportunity to peek in, then you should go for it. And then it's like you go for your one-shot kill and you run away if it misses. Well, you run away regardless if it misses or not. If you kill them, you also run away.
Right. So how about we were talking about first fight where it's like good to do that just as long as you're right on that corner, you know, knowing.
Yeah, you're like really hugging cover, because that's the thing on Junkrat. There's some fights that you can never win. Like a hit scan long range is like, it should be almost impossible to win. And so the smart to not try and kill Kiriko. Trying to kill Kiriko is really risky because if she's good, she's gonna cleanse herself when the tire gets close. But unfortunately, they deaded too early, so they didn't get the kills with their tire. But that's just like a technical mistake. Got to be a little closer, since I think it was like a Reaper and a tank, so you had to be like right on the Reaper to kill him. I think maybe it's probably better to go for the Mercy, to be honest, when he tired. We can watch the tire again, honestly. Like here, I would have gone for the Mercy kill here. Like, just secure a kill, I guess. Or the Kiriko kill. I mean, the Kiriko's like not reacting, so you could just one hit her. It's scary to try and dead on Kiriko, same as BAP, because they have like an instant self-save, so it feels really scary to like dead on them, because they might just cleanse right when you dead. It's like really, you can't really know. But yeah, I guess going for the Ashe could have worked, but she conked away like at the right moment. In general with the tire, my thought now is like the way I play Junkrat now is I always take the most consistent solo kill. I don't look for big AoE kills anymore. It's like, I think it's a mistake. Like, just take one solo kill and get back to the fight as fast as you can, because your hero is basically dead while you're in the ult. So yeah, I mean, it feels good to get like a big multi-kill tire, but in Overwatch 2, killing one is like, you probably win as long as you just get back to the fight and start fighting again. And so, especially something like Mercy who can res, like I value killing Mercy a lot. She also can't break the tire, so there's very little risk to like driving on her. So I would just take the Mercy kill at basically any time you have the opportunity to. Oh shit. In the trap. Backing up from the Reaper, playing these little bus angles is nice. Looks for the one shot. I don't mind going all in here. I think you should just keep running in here because the fight's over. Yeah, it's just die on car a little bit quicker there. Your whole team's dead. There's no point in like doing this basically. Just go die on the car. So that you're back like a little bit sooner than this.
Yeah, true.
But like sometimes on Junk, when you go for that flank kill, it's like if your team is like doing okay, you try to run away. But if your team is like all dying, you just W in and hit and like you just, I don't know, YOLO. Like if you already lost the fight, so the only way you win is like 1% hit every bullet, which could happen. So just run it down and like hit every shot, and then maybe you don't, maybe you do, but it doesn't. It's still the best play you can make, because you either want to die or get a kill as fast as you possibly can. Because if you don't get any kill and you die super late, then you like delay the game for your team. You're not going to be there next fight. Slight mistake on the conk, but good movement to make it in anyway. Force Reaper Wraith, and then barely made it out in time. Good discipline. They're holding the second conk, so if the Reaper does commit on them, they'll be okay. I think Doom got slept as he punched. Here, I would immediately wrap the flank. I guess they hear the Reaper behind them, but
through that window again?
Honestly, through the stairs.
Okay.
I think one thing is like, as soon as I see this Kiriko, my intuition would be I want to like not be in this, because like they're gonna like, this Reaper should kill you really fast. Like, he's just bad. Like the Reaper should, I guess you can't come up in the air, but he just misses a bunch. But realistically, when there's a Kiriko, I don't want to be in that thing. On basically any hero in the game, I don't want to be in that thing. So once the Kiriko comes down, I'd probably look for getting out of it into a flank.
Oh my goodness gracious. He survives.
Or just backing up and making them chase me off of it while I spam. I don't mind spamming into the Kiriko, because maybe the enemy is going to be like not paying attention to it at the moment. But yeah, you don't want to like stand inside of it as much as you can avoid it.
Are there circumstances where you just spam trap when you don't really have time to like set it up, so you just throw it out there because just
yeah, I think the new trap is actually like really long range, so just throwing it like high angle into the team fight is like pretty strong. I mean, if you have like nothing better to do with it, just press it. because I mean, people will, since you could throw it so far, it's hard to see in the air. It's pretty easy for people to like kind of walk over it without realizing, since it's like deeper into the team fight than they think. Usually the traps for Junkrat that are like in the back with his team, you either want to put it around corners in the back of the map where your team can like play on it and bait them in, or you want to just throw it into the middle of the team fight and just like, that's basically just like getting, it's like spamming basically. It's like another thing the enemy has to think about.
Right.
Versus heroes like Doomfist, you can put it on the ground and then like stand behind it and he can't punch you. I think that's pretty valuable.
Okay, makes sense. So if you were to like sum what you've seen here in this review, what were the main standing like improvement points that you would give to this Junkrat to do a little better?
I think the most important thing is the fundamentals of movement to Junkrat, which is like, we can look at the first example. I think it's the mid fight is like a really good example where it's like, so here they're on this corner tight, which I like. So like, but then why come out this far to the left? I mean, like that's not that big of a deal because it's on your side of the map. But here I would be like jiggle peeking this corner and like not necessarily spamming, because maybe you don't want to, one thing in this play style is you don't necessarily want to always spam because it like reveals your position really hard. So if you don't really think there's anybody there, you shouldn't spam. But you should just be jiggle peeking these corners. Like, I like this when you're on this corner, because if you hide in this corner, it's really hard for them to see you, even from this angle.
Right.
But then this is the movement where it's like, even this is like a great example. Look, so you shoot here, this bullet, you shoot this bullet here, and now the Ashe is actually aggroed to you from shooting that spam.
Right.
So the Ashe probably sees that bomb, and then they're looking at you, but you're not respecting them at all, and you're like basically standing open, and I think the Ashe headshots you. But like, if you basically you never wanted to, like, there was no reason for you to walk up and be in this open space. Like you could shoot this same shot from like 2 steps back and not take any damage from Ashe. Right. Okay. So you really want to be cognizant of all the cover, because since you're a Junkrat, you're not a hit scan, you don't even want to see the hit scan. Like, if you see the hit scan, you're trying to one hit him and then you're running away. Like, you're not staying, if he can see you and you're just like staying there, you're just like waiting to die basically. Right. You have no threat on that angle. So you want to the threat you have is these close range angles like this. Yeah, I don't mind when you run across the sight line to get to this next cover, because that's like a risk you might have to take to get to this flank. But then you don't want to stay here where in these long sidelines. Like, basically, I think of like the hit scan in the game, I think of any long sideline as like a place I don't want to be. If I have to go somewhere and it's like I've got to go there so that I can get to the flank, okay, maybe I take that risk and I run through the sideline. But I almost never want to stay there for extended periods of time and like spamming. Like, I'll go shoot and run. I'm either going backwards or forwards. I'm never like static in the sideline. Unless I'm behind my Reinhardt or whatever, right? So, yeah, you don't want to give like the hit scan a chance to shoot you. You want to always be peek corner, and shoot. And especially when you're blind spamming, you don't really need to like look into the angle that much and like really see them. You just need to like get an idea of where they are and spam them, and then waste time. Some things like, it's like a minor detail. I guess some of these traps can be better. Like, this trap is kind of like weird. Like, no one's gonna walk there. It's like kind of, but I would put a trap like up here, like just below the top of the stairs would be a good spot for it, where they don't see it as well from, not like on the top of the stairs, but then once they're here on the top of the stairs, they might see this, but the one that's like right here, to me, that's like a good spot on stairs, is like just below the top of the stairs, they might miss it, or just around corners, they might miss it. This one is like, this trap would be good if the enemy was going to come from the right and turn up the stairs, right? Because that's like a blind corner. Yeah. But since this position, it's more likely that they'll come down the stairs. I'd put it like up here, like where the Roadhog is, kind of.
Makes sense. Closer to their side where they're gonna like rotate blindly into it.
Yeah, exactly. Another spot to throw trap is like, you could like be under the window and like throwing traps into the window. When they peek, you like throw a trap at them basically, and they might not see it while they're peeking. This jump into the room is like YOLO. We talked about that though. It's like too risky for the reward of like maximum 1 kill, and you're almost certainly gonna die.
It feels like it's like the aggression is good, but it's just like the aggression could be done with more discipline, where you have to still have the chance of getting the kill, but you do so closer to cover, so there's a same chance of kill, but lower chance of death.
Exactly. You're just mitigating your risks. Like, you still go for these plays, and you're just immediately having an exit strategy. And then there's the times where you already lost the team fight, like you have 2 or 3 players dead, and then you just go all in no matter what happens. Like, that's fine. But when you still have a hope of winning the fight, especially like no one's dead yet, every time you go for this play, like, you're ready to back out.
Right.
You know, like you're jumping in and then you're staying right up close to the edge of the window. So as soon as it goes bad, you're gone. You're just running away. And maybe the enemy DPS like 2 taps you, perfect shots. Okay, that can happen. But you make it so they have to hit every headshot to kill you.
Right. Right. That's some good mechanics there, right there. Holy cow. It's 2
Yeah,
combos.
so they have really good aim with the junk. I mean, they like miss the conk here a little bit, but their aim is like really strong with the left clicks, which is really important on junk. You like need, and it's like the most important thing in a way. But I think their movement is a little undisciplined, which leads to them getting caught out and poked by hitscan too much. Like you want to be a hero who's poking but elusive. I think that's one of Junkrat's big strengths, right? Is the like people wouldn't be that annoyed with Junkrat if he just one hit them, but then he also died all the time. The annoying thing about Junkrat is he's always on the corner. He's never committing. You know, he's always looking for chances, but he's not giving you a chance because he just runs away when you go on him, or he goes back around the corner and you're like, oh god, I don't want to chase around the corner. There's going to be traps there and bombs, and it's like so I'm chasing down a corridor. He's going to spam me the whole time. You know, that's the scenario you want to create for the enemy where they feel anxious to chase you. If standing in the open and them shooting, they love to shoot. I mean, you're a hitscan player, like a Junkrat standing in the open, you love to shoot that guy. He doesn't shoot back, you know. He's like far away from you. He's no threat. So you're like standing still, shooting him. So yeah, making the enemy chase you, making them turn corners, and the way you make them turn corners is you're running around the corner. That's how you make them turn the corner. So
right.
But yeah, the rest of the play is like pretty solid. I think that's probably the biggest thing they could fix is like disciplined movement, hugging corners, having an exit plan for their plays. Like you go for the play and then you're out of the play. Like it works or it doesn't work. That's like up to your skill and your aim and your ability to like find opportunities. But when it doesn't work, you're gone. Like that's the play I like. It's like, okay, the Ashe shot you, you're gone. Maybe it could have been even a little quicker and like you maybe heard the footsteps of the Ashe. And honestly, I think that flank is like a little risky because they can peek you from multiple angles and you don't have like a clean corner to disengage on. But yeah, that's the more you can play for those clean disengaged corners, the better you are. Like this is a spot I like but I think going out this far to me is a little risky. Like I would have done this play like up to here, and then I would have stayed like right in the doorway. I wouldn't walk out this far where you're like on the double yellow line, right? Because here, if a hitscan starts shooting you, like the Mercy could take the pistol out and kill you, I think, at this point. But if you're like right in the corner, the Mercy's gonna be like, oh, I don't want any of that, you know? He's gonna run around the corner.
And we use our mind too, so there's our escape.
Yeah. So I would like keep hugging this corner, like again, running out really far for these kills. Like I would hug the corners a little bit more than this. I guess your team is like killing everyone at that point, so it's kind of okay. But I think like the Ashe and the Kiriko were still alive, and those are heroes I would want to like respect a little bit. Yeah, and look for just like you know, you can think about baiting the vision aggro. Even when you attempt those kills on like you peek and there's an Ashe there shooting you, like if you don't die, you baited her vision aggro for a couple seconds. That's still some like impact for your team.
Right, makes sense.
So like even if you peek this Kiriko and sure you missed the one shot, if you're playing really safe and you don't take any damage, then you could probably like stay in the room and like keep attempting more one shots. The more times you can do it without taking poke. But peeking this far out means that the Ashe is able to like pressure you out and you feel like, oh, I gotta just like hard disengage and like run away.
Right. So it's not just not just a chance of getting not only a chance of dying, but if you play with more discipline, you can stay there longer, pressuring longer.
Yeah, and staying in an annoying, like the more you're in those weird off angles where you're like threatening one shots, the more they're like staring at that corner and like trying to like be ready to dodge your one shot because they're like thinking about you all the time. And that's another impact Junk has is he has this like he takes a ton of aggro as a hero when if you're playing well and you're like poking aggressively on the flanks, the enemy is like thinking about you a ton and they're like respecting you a ton.
Makes sense.
Yeah, another thing to consider too with this tire is like something I just thought about is one of the plays you can make, especially on objective maps, is to like AFK the tire when your team's capping. So you could hide it like on your body, and then it's just like their doom will never go in. So you could think like in a way AFKing the tire. Like if I have a good way to get a kill, I would go for the kill. But this is a map where it's like probably pretty hard. It's like very open. It's very easy for them to shoot the tire as it walks up on them, right? So maybe you could like wrap around to the left and like just climb on the building and just like hang out on the top of this left building here. Like I think that's probably the best thing you could do with this tire is like go up here on the far left side of this building where no one can see, just drive up the ceiling and like hide on the ceiling with the tire and just like wait. And then like your team's capping and they're like, oh fuck, like what do I do, man? Or even hiding right on your body is fine. And the enemy team, like they know there's a tire, but your team's capping and they're like, oh, what should I do, guys? There's a tire. Like people want when they hear the tire, they want to like deal with the tire before they start playing the game again. And so if you can like make the best case with tire is that you get a kill, but you takes 10 seconds. Unless you getting a quick solo kill is also really good, but in a spot where I'm not sure if I'm going to get a kill or not, like this might be a hard spot to get a kill, you can think about like hiding the tire in like the best case would be like maybe in the room or something where it's in a really aggressive position, but no one's going to like peek into the room. I mean, you can third person the door and you're just like, no one's going to do anything about the tire. They're just going to be scared. And so sometimes making them scared is like the most impactful thing the tire can do. Like right here, realistically, this is like an easy tire to break. Running it through the open like this. I mean, maybe at this elo, like the player's aim's not good enough to break the tire, but at the top, you will run it. People will break your tire when you drive it like through the open like that. So you really want to like hug corners and like make people scared the more you can. The more scared they are and the more like running away they are, it's like free space for your team to win the game without even the tire getting a kill.
Makes sense. It's like pressure that even if you don't get a kill with it.
Yeah, just the threat of it being on the map, and especially when you can keep it close to the objective. That's all very situational, I would say, based on where the car is and where the map geometry is, and can you get a kill? If you can get a kill, just take the kill. But if you're ever not sure, zoning tire is like a legit play. I mean, ideally you want to get a kill at the end of the tire, even if you're zoning tire, but you take what you can get.
Right.
But yeah, I think the movement and positioning thing is probably the most important thing for them to think about when they're actually like actively think about to improve. Since you can't really think about everything when you're playing, actively think about not staying in. Like if you're in a sight line, you should be looking and making sure nobody's peeking the sight line on you. You know, and like if they are, you're running away and hiding. You're not gonna like walk into the sight line that the Ash is standing on. And if you're gonna walk into the sight line, you're looking at where the Ash is and making sure she's not actually watching you. Because if she is watching you, you'll be either going to the next cover, you could flank more, you could conk out, you know, you have a bunch of options, and that's up to your decision to how to play. But you should be mindful of their position so you don't give them chances to poke you out.
Okay. This is a tough scenario here. It's like everything's kind of at range. There's no immediate flanks, so you gotta be really smart.
Yeah, honestly, I would just keep constantly spamming at the Ash as much as I possibly can here. I guess once the Doom dies and the Reaper dies, I think you just like, I don't know, I think this person, maybe the Ash can like jump up on you. I think they're like waiting for somebody to jump up on them. That's how it looks. So that's fine to me too. But that makes sense for you not spamming because you don't want them to know where you are. Maybe they'll overconfidently push into you and you just get a free kill. So I don't hate that play because you already basically won the team fight with multiple kills. But yeah, I think in general, sometimes when there's really nothing you can do, then you just sit in the back and spam like blindly at the Ash, you know, like that's the Overwatch 1 playstyle. And it's okay. It's just like usually you can do more and be more scary and like threatening these one shots on the flank, which this player does a lot. But yeah, when it's just like there's all open areas that's too hard to cross, then you can just sit in the back and spam. I would say is like fine. But that's why this is a hard Junkrat map. I would say is because it's such an open map. And that's Junkrat's biggest weakness is like crossing big open sight lines into like a hit scan hero. That's like your biggest weakness. And so maps like Junkrat Town, First Point, maps like this map is a good example where it's generally pretty open. There's some spots that are like close range, but that's why I said like high level players, you know, if you're on like the low ground on the bus on mid fight, high level team, or like even high level like ranked, like no one's gonna go there. They're just gonna see you there and they'll be like, yeah, we're not going to you. Like we're just gonna be high ground and poke you forever and never ever walk near you. And Junkrat wants you to walk around the corner. They just won't do it because they're just gonna camp the high ground and push the car and like wait for you to make a mistake and then one shot you with Widow. So yeah, that's why this map is hard, I would say. The enemy team's not really doing that. They're like kind of playing around the close corners, but you're happy to take that. So I think you're doing what you can in terms of playing those corners on this map. The maps where if you're one-shotting Junkrat, you're going to have a hard time are the maps where the enemy's just a mile away on Widowmaker and you're like, what do I do? And then those are the maps where, I don't know, you like crouch walk on the flank and like hope for the best. Right. There's not much to be done.
So usually one nice thing, except for Sojourn, where the balance is heroes with a lot of range usually don't have a lot of mobility, so you can kind of exploit that a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, with like on like Junkrat Town or something first, if you were like the one base play style you can have is like the corners and stuff, but if there's just no corners to play and you're not finding there's no way to like flank and walk up, just do the Overwatch 1 play style, just stand next to your tank and shoot their tank. Because you do pressure tanks really hard, maybe you just can't do anything to their Widow because she's just a mile away from every corner. There's no way to like catch up to her. Then that's when you just shoot the tank all game and just try and like if they have Sigma, you just break the Sigma shield all game, and like that's what you can do on Junkrat. You're just a tank shooter. It's not a very good playstyle. It usually means your hero picks a bad pick, but
you gotta find.
But then there's also maps like Route 66 where there's like tons of these tiny little death chokes you can play in. That's like super annoying for the enemy. You can like control this little choke super well, and then also spam the enemy team if no one pushes you.
Right, makes sense. So it's
and
like
then flank also, like you have all the options available to you when you have those ideal Junkrat positions.
Makes sense. Like transitioning between spam, flank, one shot, all sorts of stuff, all within like the same position.
Yeah, within like maybe there's like a hallway that you can go back and forth on, and it's like no one wants to come to the hallway because it's too tight quarters to fight you effectively.
Right, makes sense. Well, I appreciate your help, Jake. Obviously, I'm sure the person getting coached really appreciates it as well. I got one last question for you. What are your thoughts on today's patch notes?
I think they're interesting. I think they're pretty minor.
Yeah.
In my view, the real OP heroes are like I think Kiriko is actually still OP. It's just too good still, and like. Blocks like Zen and Ana as picked, kind of. So I think Kiriko's still OP. I think the Orisa nerf's a good nerf. Hog, like I don't know. Hog doesn't seem like that big of a problem hero to me. I think maybe Hog was kept down by Mercy Sojourn though, where she like feeds so many rails. It's like kind of feels really bad to play Hog if the enemy goes like Sigma or something, or Orisa too, to be fair. So the Sojourn with the change is also going to be like more balanced. You still get rail off like Orisa Fortify and things like that. So maybe it'll feel more diverse in that way. I think the changes just are pretty small though. I still think the high level Widow feels like super oppressive to me. I feel like the game's, I don't even enjoy playing Overwatch right now because I just hate Widow so much. It's just like one trick viable. It's like, I feel like Widow is like just a non-interaction hero unless you play Widow, Sojourn, or Tracer, and I don't like playing those heroes, so it's like I don't want to play the game.
Right, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, so
unfortunate meta. Well, I really appreciate your time, mate, with the review and the interview. We had a lot of fun.
Of course, best of luck to this Junkrat player. They have really good fundamental projectile aim, so they can probably go pretty far with Junkrat. I think tightening up the playstyle stuff will get them more wins.
Sick. Well, I'm sure they'll be glad to hear that. But again, thank you for your time, mate. Have a wonderful rest of your stream, and keep in touch. And good luck with your future with the whole family thing and figuring out esports and maybe doing a little bit more content stuff or going back to school. I mean, I know like the priorities of family rising up as you get a little older. I totally feel you there. So, but good luck with all that, mate.
All right. Thanks, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for everything, man. Have a good one.
All right, you
good
too.
Luck with your stream.
Cheers. All right, that was Jake. Overwatch chat. It's been good. I'm going to call stream right now. I'm going to toss a raid over to Shubu, who's playing some ball. Hope you guys found that one fun. I will be back this Thursday. We're going to do some raffle review. I might have a big free coaching giveaway tomorrow, so stay tuned with that. And then we have another collaboration next week, which I will announce later on, which I'm sure you guys will all be excited for as well. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, of course. Appreciate you guys streaming in. So chat. Say hello to Shubu time. Enjoy the professional Wrecking Ball play. Jump on the raid. Here we go. We're going to head out in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.